Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Big Trouble Little Podcast, episode 253, and hopefully I get this right.
The season finale.
Yes, you heard that right, and you probably read that right, and we'll talk about that later. Yes, season 1 finale. After 253 episodes, it's finally ending season 1. But anyway,
it's the longest season 1 ever.
Yeah, longer than fucking Next Generation or any type of show in the 90s. But yes, we are also in the finale of Chaz's mystery theme with Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon in there, John Goodman, and the son from Tron Legacy. By the way, that's the son in Tron Legacy who played Billy, the fucking gangster guy. So I thought that was hilarious. Anyway, yeah, let's get into this movie. I love the early 90s, the early 2000s.
By the way, I'm Andy, and that's Zach, and that's Chaz.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, I was.
You don't have to worry. Season 2, we're changing.
Season finale. These idiots are fired.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm Joe Dubs. Like Andy said, he's Andy. Cake and Bacon is Zach, and Chaz is Chaz.
Shit, I mean, you've only had 253 episodes to get it right.
Fuck you.
Yeah. I deserve that. From space.
So yes, Death Sentence, 2007 movie. This is really early 2000s stuff. Like they were like foreshadowing a lot of shit that was happening before it happened. That's why I messaged you in Facebook Messenger early today. It's like, Chaz, I'm laughing my ass off because they're at the gas station, right? And he's talking to the wife, and he's like, "Oh, our son's going to Canada. We're gonna lose him forever." And then he gets fucking sliced by a fucking machete next scene.
I was laughing because before that, there had been no conversation in the chat pretty much all day long. And
They got him. They got him.
Oh, he was gonna say shit. They were like, "No, you won't."
Andy, if you hear us, you're frozen right now, and it looks like
you're. Nowhere, you just go, "This black cop."
you just froze and you came back and heard Black Cop. So what
I know froze and went Black Cop, and then went back to Frozen.
Yeah, so I know what you were saying. It was silent all day long, and then I decided to say, "This Black Cop's an idiot." Yeah, Andy, you did freeze and for a little bit and then came back. But yeah, the machete thing, I laughed my ass off, bro. And what's with these gangsters? And that's why I was like, where are they from, by the way? What city? Chaz, do you know?
Metropolis.
I don't know. I kind of just assumed they were somewhat close to Canada because it's brought up in the context of the movie, but I don't know where they're at. I don't think they ever really say.
I guess Connecticut, maybe.
I thought like maybe like a Midwest city. So Chicago made sense, or like Minneapolis, or like. Then again, he said Canada was far away, but I don't know what the context of that was. I mean, I don't know. They were in undisclosed American city.
Yeah, and then I guess this gang is like a mixture of like skinheads and Mexicans and one black guy.
So this is the way I look at this movie. If there's anything that like seems like it maybe doesn't make sense, like it's off, I always just attribute it to, oh well, this is a James Wan film.
Sure.
It's kind of shitty, but like it's almost like any little trope that he has in a movie. It's like, okay, he's a big picture guy, but if we're nailing details, yeah, something's gonna be off or a little weird. And he's like, oh yeah, didn't you know like there in some cities there are gangs that are all inclusive. There's all members of all cultures, and
the gang in this movie is stupid.
It's really, yeah.
They're like a multicultural early 2000s gang, and they drive very nice, very expensive sports cars from the 70s. I don't get it.
Yeah,
It's like somebody it's like somebody wrote this movie and they have no idea what gangs are really like. Like they just have like this amalgamation gang.
We just needed bad guys.
If we want to get the biggest flaw out of the way, that is just the default of it. It is James Wan filmed this movie. Like if he is the director, and anytime he's the director, something like this will happen, and he wants you to look past that. He's like, no, you don't get it. You're missing the point of the film. Well, the point of the film is don't do fucking things like that. But so that I don't get confused and not pay attention to whatever else is in there. But yes, the gang it doesn't make any sense. So.
Yeah, speaking of James Wan, by the way, if anybody doesn't know, he worked on the Saw movies, and if you haven't noticed the Easter egg where Billy was, you saw Jigsaw's face in the background and as graffiti.
I did not notice that.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, there's a Jigsaw clown. Yeah.
I thought I was going to be really clever and figure out where this movie takes place because I was looking up the license plates in this movie because I figured that'd be a good way to guess. These cowards put like blank license plates on all the cars. They're just like numbers on a blank background.
Yeah.
So I think it is supposed to be ambiguous. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, it's in the James Wan universe, so technically it's the same city that Saw happened in. So there you go.
Mega City 1,
Saw City,
and also Malignant, right?
Oh,
That's
fuck.
or not? Isn't that the movie? Yeah, it's the other movie he made. So there you go.
Malignant.
So the detective that I called stupid was played by Aisha Tyler. Now, if you didn't remember, like in 2015 and maybe all the way to like 2018, she worked with Ubisoft during E3 to do their shows for E3. And
I thought she looked familiar.
yeah, so I was like, that's an interesting pick. But the reason why I called her stupid is like there's a gang that is trying to kill this guy's family. Like, wouldn't you put them in like witness protection or something like that? Because it's part of a crime. And I don't think a gang that was like shooting in broad daylight cares about two cops that looked stupid anyway sitting in front of the house.
They clearly didn't.
Yeah. So, and I guess they were trying to do the whole, well, you should never start this war kind of thing. So now you're going to fucking go head on with this war. And I'm just only going to give you these two cops because probably the budget in the city only allowed me to give you these two cops. So I also didn't like because there was not context. I understand her point of view that, him killing, the person in the beginning of the movie, which turns out to be John Goodman's like younger son or whatever, which I love that stupid twist, by the way. There was like stupid ass twists. But she's like being suspicious of him, and she picks up the hockey stick and then goes to the guy's house to like, oh, your son plays hockey. And I'm like, wait a second. That was all in self-defense in that entire scene right there. Because literally he got a package, he came out with a suitcase, he got shot at, and then he killed the guy in a funny way where tying him up with a seatbelt and having the car go up the fucking parking lot.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my thing. I mean, she was not really important in this fucking movie anyway. She was just kind of like a background character because it was all about revenge of Kevin Bacon.
She's supposed to be there to make him feel bad for being violent at some point, but
pretty much.
And fuck the DA, by the way. I'm gonna make a deal. It's gonna be 3 to 5 years. We're gonna get this guy off the thing. And he's talking about like his campaign, literally. Like, I'm gonna get all these bad guys off of the street. It's gonna be great for me, but not for you.
Yeah. Basically, it's like, wait, you actually want to fight it? That's paperwork. I don't like paperwork.
Yeah. There was a lot of like laugh out scenes because it like had that cheesiness of early 2000s. Like, when he found out his son was still alive and shit, and he like left, he's like, I'm gonna get these bastards. And like the detective,
he looked at the camera like when after he kissed his son in the head, he like Kevin Bacon just goes. Looks directly at the camera, duh, 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 and he has like the badass look. I'm like, oh god, it's on now. Now he's in Liam Neeson mode. He's gonna fucking get it.
It's fucking.
They couldn't decide what kind of character he was because they're like, oh, he's what was he, like an investment banker insurance
a
loser.
risk analyst.
He
Risk
was,
analyst, that's what it was.
yeah,
he's
he
like-
was an executive VP of a risk analyst.
He's like a loser, and then when he gets in fights, he's Liam Neeson and Taken. He's like kicking guns out of people's hands and dodging stuff and like being real quick. And it's like, wait, what? there's no scene where you find out he used to be a SEAL before he like retired to family life.
He used to be a hockey player.
And then he buys
it.
guns, and then he goes to his garage and plays around with the guns for a while, and they make it clear that he doesn't know how to handle guns. They make it. He's like, oh, it's a shotgun. Oh my god! And then like
racking it.
Yeah,
he read a fucking manual for like a 1911 and learned how to operate 3 different guns.
yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
So they make it. They go through the trouble showing you he doesn't know how to use guns, and then he uses those guns to kill a bunch of people who know how to use guns.
Do you know how he did it? This was directed by James Wan.
Oh shit!
Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to joke, but like seriously, the details are there, and you're gonna hurt your brain thinking of that. But I will defend. There are some parts of it that are good. The problem is the consistency is the issue. But there are parts and moments in his actions where the fight, it's very gritty, like visceral. He is struggling, right? Like he struggles with like the person as he's fighting with them. Like there's the scene when they first invade the home where he's getting shot at and he's doing his best like Dark Souls simulator where he's like dodge rolling and like barely like not getting his ass blown out. And but he like pulls like the rug out from the one guy and he shoots up, and then he just takes that one guy and tackles him, and they just go through the fucking steps, like the staircase, like stuff like that was kind of cool. But then, like you said, then all of a sudden he just knows how to shoot a gun, and like not even proficiently, but like very well. Like it did not make any sense at all.
Yeah, at that one point, right before the final showdown, he like turns around real quick and shoots the guy behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, what? No, like after the guy misses him and like shoots him in the ear or something benign like that.
Yeah, and I went back to look. So, okay, a little context if anybody didn't know. So, everyone here is probably familiar with a film called Death Wish, correct?
Yes.
Familiar with the classic Charles Bronson. Yeah.
This is the only interesting thing about this movie, by the way, is where it came from.
Yeah, this film is a spiritual sequel to the film in the sense that this movie itself is not like page for page from the book, but the book that Death Wish is from, Death Sentence is a sequel. This is a modern take on that same book. So it's kind of cool in that way, and it does take a lot from the book in some ways. The problem is, again, just those little details. I've always thought that about James Wan's films.
You know,
he's very good at ideas, but just those little details get you.
You're talking about the Death Wish and like the book and the movie and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out that this movie's based off of its own book. Like I was reading about this movie, it's based off of a book from the 70s.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the only reason this is interesting at all is Death Wish had an adaptation, and then they optioned the rights for the sequel to the book, Death Sentence. But Golan and whatever the other Israeli guy, the guy who ran Canon, they didn't like it. They thought the book was boring, so they said, "Forget it. We'll just write our own shit." And then they did for like 5 movies, and then way after the fact, this came along.
This movie had identity problems to the point where it's just like it like almost wanted to go full action, but then it like went back a little bit. It's like, oh, I need to be a little bit serious, and the scenes. I don't even know if it's Kevin Bacon's fault, because Kevin Bacon is a good actor, but at times I'm just like, the first part where he's like going to kill the young gangster guy, like he does everything wrong. He sees the lady come out, I'm like, automatically I'm like, that's an eyewitness right there. You're fucked. Once they find out that you killed someone in there with a rusty knife and probably left tons of DNA all over the floor and shit, that the first person they're going to talk to is that lady who came out of the building and stuff.
That I find more interesting, though. I thought that was a more compelling story, is this guy who is not a killer decides to take the law into his own hands and take a life, which is something that's not easy to do. And that was an interesting story at first, but then right after that, it takes a hard turn and becomes an action movie. It becomes a revenge action thriller, which is another kind of movie I like. I like Death Wish too. It's just this movie tried to have both, and it didn't really work. That's what I meant. Like, in one scene he's like a loser, and in the next scene he's just a badass.
Right. So that's part of the problem, is that if you look at the larger points of the movie as they play out, there is a really interesting story. And again, I think I said before on past episodes when we get to this movie, or maybe it was off air, I defend this movie a lot in some ways. I actually really like this movie, but more for some of the ideas. And I haven't watched it in a long time, so that caveat of I'm a parent, so everything hits different. It's hard to watch. Like it's some of the scenes from it are rough, just because losing a child is like the worst thing that can happen to you. So seeing it from that perspective, like there are some really interesting points of the story, and this focus on taking justice in your own hands and what the consequence that is. It's not supposed to be this whole thing where he comes off badass, like he looks great. He's supposed to look like he's struggling. The problem is in between, they let him be that person where there's a lot of action. And that's where it's inconsistent. If it weren't for that, this film would be a lot better in just letting it be all outright struggle, because he needs to be incompetent and not know what he's doing, because he shouldn't know what he's doing. But the larger points of, okay, well, he messes with these people, and then it feeds more into that whole idea of revenge, then they proceed to go after him and in full force, and he ends up, paying for, trying to take the law into his own hands, and it gets out of his control. Like that's there. The problem is that he doesn't learn anything. He loses his wife. His one kid's about to die. Like, he's basically lost his whole family, and he nearly dies. And instead, he turns into Goku, because he's like, "Oh, I think you're still alive. I love you." And then he looks up and has that death stare that he's going to go off and do all this stuff.
Climbs out of a hospital bed and goes out a window.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's
turned into fucking Batman or some shit.
Yeah, he literally looks at the camera. If he just could have his hair turn yellow, he just straight up gives the look when Goku arrives. I just watched it. That's why it sticks to me. When Goku arrives to Namek and finds out that the Ginyu Force broke his child's neck, and he's like, "Here, eat this, son." And he's like, "You're okay." And he's like being very nice. And then he looks up and gives that rage, like hateful look over to Raccoon. That's exactly
I'm talking to my son. That part, right?
Yeah.
Here, Gohan. You're okay.
Yeah,
that's the look he gives, and then he proceeds to go on and like murder a bunch of fucking crackheads. I don't know.
But the problem with that is, like, after he does that death stare into the camera, and he's like, "I'm gonna get revenge" and all that stuff, Kevin Bacon style. Like the next scene is Aisha Tyler looking at Luke's hand, going, "He's moving, Doctor," and I just fucking died, because it has Seventh Heaven type of drama. If you ever watched the TV show Seventh Heaven, by the way, on CW.
That was my favorite part of the movie. That whole sequence. Just
yeah. She comes in and she sees that he's gone, but then she sees, oh, he's moving. Yeah. There's some things about the movie that are so bad in that melodrama of how they're handled. But
like when Luke goes to the gas station, and he confirms that his dad is doesn't like him more than Brent, or as Brendan, pretty much.
Yeah, so okay, that I'll defend that to a point of that is him trying, they're playing with this balance of him trying to understand what happened to his brother, because just like the father losing his first child who he adored, the son is trying to deal with, okay, he lost his big brother who he also idolizes, but also has that feeling of, well, they're so upset and they're not even giving me the attention to figure it out. To figure out how I feel about it, I'm also grieving. Does he wish that it was me? Those are actually real things people go through. It seems corny, cliche,
executed right.
But well, in a way, they're trying. I think it's a thing. There's effort put into it. It's just done in such a weird way. He went through that ridiculous scene of the guy falling through the car and all this, and then he gets called and he's like, "I know where he is." And he's like, I'll just go there now looking like this. I just got my ass kicked, barely survived being murdered by fucking drug heads or whatever, and he's gonna run off and find his son at this gas station, and it says like, you don't even understand how I feel.
Well, here's another
What is
thing.
that
Like,
supposed to mean?
well, here's another thing that like kind of like peeves me a little bit. It's like it's the year 2007. Let's just say like that's what the year is in the movie. They haven't seen Godfather. They don't know what happens when you mess with the mob. The mob is coming after you. Like, I wouldn't be going back to work. I wouldn't be leaving my kid in school. I wouldn't be going back to the same. If I was going to deal with the mob by myself, I'd be like, honey, I need you to go across the state or across the fucking America because I don't want this gang coming after you because I killed one of theirs and now they're probably coming after to kill one of mine, which eventually they do.
Yeah, the only thing that's consistent in this movie is that the police are portrayed as totally incompetent. That is the only consistency throughout the whole movie.
Like,
I mean, you need that. It's a revenge movie. Like the police need to be useless.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? But sadly, nothing else is consistent. But yeah, they are consistently like completely stupid. Like they know exactly what's happening. They even call him out on it, but then do nothing to really stop it. And not in a way that's going to help.
And just like, now, you shouldn't be taking the law into your own hands, young man.
Yeah, he, in a very loose way, he basically says, what if I did kill them? What do I do? And she's like, God rest your soul, you didn't start a war. Like, what cryptic shit is that? You're just going to leave me with 2 fucking pigs out in front of my house? Of course we're all going to die.
And then he says, I can't balance it. And Aisha Tyler's like, what?
What did you say? Yeah.
Oh, man.
That bothered me too because I'm like, that's an easy collar right there for a cop because he's admitting guilt right now, and she's like, nope, you know what, I'm gonna let the gang handle this. Peace out, I'm out of here.
If she was a good cop, she would have arrested him anyway because that would have kept him safe.
Yeah, literally, she could have even had him like admit, okay, to you, I will keep your family safe if you admit to what you've done, and they would literally just put them in protective custody so nothing can happen.
I guess that would be the end of the movie, probably.
It's just no more movie.
Yeah.
Do you know why that didn't happen? This was directed by James Wan. like logic's just a void. It doesn't make any sense. But I get the idea that what Kevin Bacon's character would do, and that really any of the family for that matter, nothing they would do would make sense, at least, because the whole point is that losing this person in their life is so devastating that they're not thinking logically or rationally, because he's literally a risk assessment. If anyone knows, he should be the person that knows what risk he's taking doing all of these things. Yeah, he just doesn't care anymore. That's the point. And it's supposed to drive home that point. At what point would losing a loved one in this way break you? Like the idea is to make you think that yourself and feel that way. So in a way, I get it. The problem is that it shouldn't also make you suddenly very good at things in a very convenient way.
He's what's the male version of Mary Sue? He's a
Gary Stu.
He's a Gary Stu.
No, for real, Gary Stu.
Oh, it is Gary Stu?
Is that really a thing?
Yeah.
That's really what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of James Wan, every time like we go into a dark, gritty area, I just like under my breath, I want to play a game. I'm like, we're going in a jigsaw fucking puzzle or something.
Yeah, there were a couple where it happened. I was waiting for a tricycle just to go across.
It's like, what the fuck was that? Like they were holed up in like an old mental institution or something.
That's what they said.
And they had like a creepy like. There's like a church. It honestly it looked halfway like a Western developed Silent Hill area for like their headquarters.
Yeah, then like Kevin Bacon turned into fucking Judge Dredd and like pointed a gun and it says, "What's your sentence?"
I thought about Judge Dredd as well.
Yeah.
Man, Kevin Bacon could have been a good Judge Dredd.
All right. Him cutting his hair, was it to be cool or was it combat driven so no one could pull his hair?
Yes.
It was to be cool.
Okay.
Also, yes.
Well, also, it's like a visual metaphor. He's transforming into a killer. he's leaving behind his old ways.
It's just like that really deep scene at the end when they get the shootout and he kills everybody. It's just like the last guy. And then they both just stumble onto the pew in the Silent Hill church.
And he's like, I made you. You're just like me. You even shaved your hair, you weirdo.
I laughed so hard that I'm like, this is so deep. Yes. And then he's like, I made you what you are. It's like some kind of Batman Joker shit or something. You're just like one of us. And he's like, you ready?
Yeah.
He takes out the revolver. I really wanted the bad guy to go, how many guns did you bring, man?
Yeah.
I got 2 questions. One, did I miss a scene where eventually Billy found out that fucking Kevin Bacon was the guy who killed the young brother, or they just assumed and put?
No, yes.
They're all eating, and the guy's like, oh, my sister saw some fucking guy in a suit.
Oh, that's the eyewitness. Okay.
Yeah, and then like there was a newspaper, and like he made the connection there and had it confirmed by that chick's brother who he's friends with.
Okay.
Yeah, he sent him over to look at the papers. She confirmed that's who it was, and then he was like, "Yeah." So that's when they went after him, and then that was the parking lot scene. I do want to point out something that was kind of cool in terms of just how they filmed it. That entire scene when he's climbing up the parking garage until he gets to the top, and they're following both of them. That was a one shot. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a really cool way of them doing it. Yeah, I kind of felt bad. I was like, damn, Kevin Bacon. I wonder how many times they had to shoot this, and that man was like, please, I'm out of breath. I can't do
the
this.
whole time, yeah.
Yeah, what about the camera guy that had to follow him? Because that was a hand cam. It was like a, man, Metal Gear Bacon.
You had to hump the fucking cars to make him go do the alarm and shit.
I like that. It's like for every little thing they do like that, that's really cool. Like, again, it's that sense of urgency and panic because he's supposed to be a civilian he's like taking that step over the edge and realizes, oh, I fucked up. No, I shouldn't have done this. It is. Then they go the other way, and it's like, no. It's again, I have so many conflicting feelings about this movie because there's so many cool ideas of what they could do, and some things they actually do really well, but then they end up contradicting a lot of it. But even despite that, I still defend it in some weird way. Sometimes you just watch a movie at 3 a.m. when you're in college, and it just hits different. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen Boondock Saints.
Let me tell you something. No, how did you guys go about seeing this movie?
No comments.
Okay.
Legally. Just legally.
Okay, but you saw it in HD, right?
Yeah.
Well, I went to watch it legally. I legally rented it off of
Budgetlegally.com.
Yeah, no, really. I rented it off YouTube, and then I was like, all right, here goes. And I just decided, because I was eating dinner at the same time, I was like, I'm just going to watch this on my computer. Well, apparently it wasn't streamable in HD. It was just SD. So let me tell you something, though. This movie really is like watching SD on a computer monitor kind of a movie. That's
how I watched it.
It sounds fitting.
It's because when I was watching it, I was like, I think I like this better in SD on a computer monitor. It looks better.
It handles the grittiness. Like, I will give credit to James Wan. There is like some cool shots in there. Like when he's going through the mental institution place. Like it does, like it's the wall is dark and then like the light shines over it and it's like all these like spooky ghost. I talked like a Canadian there for a second.
Spooky goose,
eh?
I'll use spooky gooses.
But there's like ghost faces and shit and stuff, and I was like, that's pretty cool. And then they did like the whole like Max Payne like walking the trails of blood and shit in the mental institution area, especially when he like blows off that guy's fucking leg and then like shoots him like 20 feet into the air, and then shoots the guy out of the fucking hospital window and stuff. Oh man! But my second thing, it's not really a question, but it's kind of like a comment. I predicted. I was like, oh man, how are they gonna find out his family? Must be the wallet. Oh, let me guess. The wallet is in the suitcase. Why is it not in his pocket like a normal person? But yeah, that's how they found out where they lived. Is there was a a wallet in there and address and stuff, and he had to do the picture and then call the payphone to the bar. Which another scene that I laugh my ass about is when Kevin Bacon goes in the bar and asks for where Billy is, and the guy's talking in Spanish, and then like it cuts. Kevin Bacon just silent there for a second, and then he starts talking Spanish, and I start laughing. I don't know why. Just seeing Kevin Bacon talking Spanish is funny
in a badass way. And then like what got me is he gave him a fuck ton of money, and he didn't have to. He could have just like slapped him around and.
I wondered about that too. Like he gave him so much money, the guy should have been like, "Oh, I'll tell you exactly where they're at. That's fine."
Well, that's why the guy grabbed it first. He's like
I would have, yeah, I would have like beat his ass and then took my money back because it's like, listen, I tried to be nice, and then fuck you.
That's the inconsistency thing, right? Oh, that actually would have made a lot of sense if everything else was in line, because this is a guy that has no idea how to pressure someone and browbeat information out of them. So he would be the guy that would be very aggressive and like beat him around, but also throw a bunch of money at him and do it the wrong way. But that, like, again, there are moments where it makes a lot of sense, except he doesn't continually do that. Then he goes back to Liam Neeson and doing badass stuff that he shouldn't know how to do.
In my head, I just developed a better, more entertaining scene where some guy's just like beating somebody's ass with like, I don't know, a tire iron, and it's like, where is he at? Where are they at? And then he just throws like a bunch of money at him, like a bunch of bills just flutter around in the fucking air. Tell me, I don't what? And you're confused him because you're beating his ass and you're giving him a bunch of money and he just doesn't know how to react.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it to the next level. You know what would hurt more than the cash? You just get fucking rolls of fucking quarters and just pelting him.
You just like flick quarters at him. Like, what the fuck?
You're just fucking beaning his ass with the fucking whole roll. Yeah, the hard
Sacagawea dollars.
Oh,
that's what it is.
You just wanted to say Sacagawea.
Sacagawea dollar coins.
Hey, cigarette. That's a cig of weed.
All right, let's talk about John Goodman.
Nah.
Oh
What,
my
the two
goodness.
scenes that he's in?
He's fat.
He wears two types of glasses.
He's been fat forever.
The thing with this, like, they tried to like do some type of like dumb twist. Like in the beginning, you thought like he was like a mob boss type of guy or something, whatever. Because like Billy comes up with the money and he's like, "That's all you got? You fucking half-wit? Get out of
like
here!"
You run a corner or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, and then Kevin Bacon buys the guns and shit, and like. He shows him all the guns. He shows him the Deagle, the 1911, and the
Can we talk about that, please? I fucking hate that scene. I fucking love that scene because it's like, here's all the movie guns. This one's the 357 Magnum. This one's the 1911. And this one's the Desert Eagle. It's like,
it really is.
Those are all the cliches. You did it. You got all three of them. Good job. And then he's like, no, wait. What about Britain? Double barrel shotgun.
There it is.
It's like, get out of here.
I'm not.
And then of course they do the same. I hate scenes like that. Like I was saying, I hate and love scenes like that where it's like, I'll take them all. Like that's always what happens.
Well, I'm not knocking the double barrel shotgun, right?
But I am. That's stupid.
Yeah, I agree with you because like. You're going to kill a bunch of gangsters, and by the way, he uses the double barrel mostly through that mental institution.
I mean, you saw what happened to everybody.
Yeah, but like
he doesn't have to aim it as much. I'll give it to you. It makes the most sense because all the pistols he needs to be aiming. The shotgun he can just like ballpark it a bit.
Pretty much.
And also, it's intimidating. Like it's blowing like plate-sized holes in walls and people. So,
dude, when they went into his house and shit, and they were putting holes, I'm like, holy fuck! and these gangsters suck at shooting.
They
holy
really do.
Fucking shit, dude! Like Billy could have shot him like 20,000 times. Which
why did they do this?
Yeah, but like he should have stopped, like running and shot, and like he would have won. But again, that's what
I don't even know about that. That motherfucker's like Domino from the Marvel universe, like just fucking lucky as shit, like never getting hit. Yeah, I was waiting for like a spoiler or some weird twist where it was like, no, actually, and he was gonna be like, yeah, I'm the leader of the Akatsuki. I can actually dodge shit, and he's like,
see, that's why he's a risk. That's why he's a risk analyst.
That's what I was saying earlier. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop and to be like, when I was in Delta Force, blah blah blah, and I'd be like, oh, this makes sense now. But no,
They called me the risk analyst because I could go into a risky situation and analyze every angle and come out clean.
Yeah.
Did you?
When I was in Vietnam, I killed 300 Viet Cong.
I know what it sounds. I know what sound a man makes when you stab him in the back.
Yeah, his son's like holding a machete. It's like, do you know anything about a machete? I do.
Did you notice like they try to like make Kevin Bacon like an asshole? Like, remember when his coworker comes in, he's like, "Oh, this guy's like about to lose everything." And he's like, "No, we can't give him any money because he's a risk or whatever." So
I think Kevin Bacon was the good guy there, right?
was he? I thought it was the other way around.
No,
He was like, "Oh, this guy worked for us. We're gonna do right by him, right?"
Oh,
Yeah.
Maybe I
He's
read
talking
it
about
wrong.
like some new company policy that's supposed to be better about that shit or something.
Someone had died and they didn't have any beneficiaries or something like that.
Yeah.
I thought they were always like playing the part like there's a bad side of him and he just needs to release it. Like
Yes.
he was just following the rules to the company, the corporation.
Oh no, I think that it was the other way. It was actually trying to like, oh no, he's being a good person, but he's also looking at like the actual risk. Again, it's that weird thing of this is a person that is constantly always thinking about taking the low risk thing, and then his son gets killed buying a Slurpee, and he says, "Fuck it," and he throws all that shit out the window, which is a cool premise, right? Until they do weird shit with it. I don't know.
I wrote in the Facebook chat, there's a reason why I don't flash my blinkers at cars, just for that reason didn't happen.
You don't know what the fuck's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing. I always learned that you only do it for two. Like if you flash your blinkers, there's like the weird urban legend or something
That a
about
cop is
like
on
getting
down the road or
murdered.
something.
Well, not that. That's the actual reason to do it, right? Like I learned like living out in the fucking sticks in West
There's
Virginia.
deer in
If
the road.
you flashing is to give them a heads up. Something ahead of them is some type of hazard, whether it's a deer, a
It means
cop,
one of two things:
crazy
pigs
hobo.
or deer.
Yeah, pigs or deer, exactly.
No, I
Okay.
fuck everybody. I don't do that shit. I don't know who's in that car. I don't know if it's like fucking I almost said Al Bundy, Ted Bundy or something like.
I think you were gonna say Al Qaeda.
I don't know if it's Al Qaeda or Al Bundy or Mothman. I don't know.
Gee, I don't know, Peg. This guy's flashing his lights at me. What do you think we should do about it?
I'm gonna throw fucking shoes at him, you that piece of shit. Man.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so like there's a lot of things like Kevin Bacon does really stupid shit. Like, man, check your gas before you go into whatever long trip because his son is like, I need to go in the city because I'm having a hockey match. And then he like goes to this like bumfuck gas station and then
South side of Chicago fucking gas station. Yeah.
and then the son is like, I gotta get my normal I almost said sushi. Slushy. Never get gas station sushi. You're playing with fire there, by the way.
God.
Yeah. So I know we're nitpicking and we're shitting on it, and it's okay. I want to give my summary and hear what you guys think about it, though, just because I be nitpicking details forever. Just the way I've always looked at this movie, I thought it was a good. I've actually wanted to pick this movie for a long time. It's actually the entire reason I came up with a pick. This is one of those movies that, to me, is a 6 out of 10 that like is just like undeserved in a way. Like I feel like it could have been so much more. It is at least an 8 out of 10 in terms of the premise of what the story could be, but like a 5 out of 10 in execution at best because of how they like ruin certain details. Like there are certain parts of the movie I think that really they pack so much emotional weight, and maybe it's low hanging fruit because having to watch a family try to deal with the murder of their teenage son or something is just a hard thing to watch, right? It's supposed to be rough. Like it's a hard thing to sit and look at. But there are really like good messages in the movie. The movie itself is got a very good lesson to it in a way, but then it almost contradicts its own lesson. I think it's still there in a way, but they end up getting so edgy. That's my only thing I really, really don't like. I can get over the James Wan logic vacuum. That doesn't bother me as much anymore. The number one thing that I get griped about this is that the entire thing's supposed to be a lesson, and at the very end, he just lets him go full Sakura, or not Sakura, Sasuke, and that's not the point of it. It misses its own point because you're not supposed to make the whole revenge thing look cool.
Yeah, you are.
Not in this movie. It wasn't supposed to.
This movie's trying to take itself seriously.
But also
what
be
he's saying.
ridiculous.
Well, yeah,
But,
that's the thing.
yeah.
You gotta have one or the other. You either gotta have Death Wish, which is badass and it's male power fantasy. It's like, oh, someone wronged me, and now I'm gonna fucking blow them away. That's cool. Oh, I want to watch that movie. Or it needs to take itself seriously and have a message about how violence perpetrates violence and blah 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 blah.
Exactly. That's 100% the thing with this movie. He can't be a cowboy and a civilian.
Yeah.
No.
He has to be one or the other.
They tried so hard to do both.
They did, and to be fair, I feel like they got further than a lot of other stories similar to that could have gotten, but it still falls short, which is so disheartening in a way. But despite that, it's one of those weird things. Like, everyone has their 6 out of 10 game that they'll tell someone to watch. I recommend that people still watch this at least once. So kind of a lightish recommendation, but again, I take it with the fact that there's caveats to it. But I think it still creates some interesting discussion. It's that execution and those little details that really can be a hang up on it, rather than the bigger message of the movie. Which I know we focus more on the nitpicking part, but that's okay.
Let me be frank. When I'm nitpicking it, when I'm having a good time nitpicking it, I'm having a good time watching this movie. Like,
oh, sure.
Yeah, it's like, now there's like stuff like Mano, Hand of Fate, like where we're just like, fuck, I gotta talk about this movie and shit. Like, that's where it's hard for me to like nitpick, because I fucking hate the movie and I don't want to talk about it. But we did talk about it on the show, so go listen to one of our Halloween episodes. But like this one, like, I had a good time because, one, I'm actually a sucker for the Saw movies, so I actually like the Saw movies. And James Wan, it's directed by James Wan. It's early 2000s as fuck. But yeah, I understand what the message that they were trying to do. I also think that they're like, we have Kevin Bacon as the lead and he needs to be a badass, and that's hurt the movie in a sense, because they were trying to teach a lesson. Like, sometimes revenge is not the way to be, because you lose family members that way. Obviously he lost his wife, and probably he's going to jail for, then again, I don't know, because we don't see what happened at the end. Maybe
he died.
Did he die?
Well, I mean, like, it fades out from him watching his whole movies, so it's like
he gets arrested, I think is what happens.
No, well, okay. In an extended version of the movie, he succumbs to his wounds. He dies.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's shitty.
I mean, even before that, I interpreted that ending as he fucking blacked out watching his whole movies. He died.
Huh.
Yeah, I did the same. Yeah, I did. I had the same thought. Like, he had too many mortal wounds. He managed to get back to his home just to be able to watch and know it was all worth it, because he knew that he'd forsaken himself in that way.
You know
So
what it is?
I think it that way too. But
You know what it is? He hated Luke so much that he didn't want to take care of him. So he fucking died.
That's the bad kid. I'm gonna leave him to the system.
Look, more like puke. He's gonna puke. No, really, I actually, that's another thing. It's like frustrating. It's like that logic, like loophole of you gave up and did all this stuff anyway and caused it for your family, and instead of looking and realizing it and knowing, okay, you really do have another chance to take care of your son and try to make this right. Nope, you just I'm just gonna finish the job and leave him completely alone.
And blow all the savings on top of that.
Yeah.
You talk about a Batman origin story. Fucking Luke is gonna turn into shitty Minneapolis Batman right there, because he is now an orphan. Because his dad was a
scumbag. He spent all their money and he left him with. He's gonna come out of a coma and just be like,
"Fuck this kid."
He's not gonna become Batman. He's gonna become Joker. He's an artist. He was fucking. He had a rough childhood. He was.
You want to know how I got these scars?
By his father. He has Dane Bramage now. So.
He does.
Dane Bramage. Yeah, that's. Yeah, well.
I was gonna
His-
be a soccer player, but my
His
dad didn't
medulla
like
oblongata exploded. I mean, like,
Waiting for that way James Wan interview. I was like, well, actually, this is supposed to be a Jigsaw origin story.
oh
Then you
shit.
find out,
Buy it.
yeah. See, like that. Honestly, it wouldn't be too far off. Like, oh, look at shit he went
Got
through. He's
cancer
like,
at the
and
doctor.
that's when I realized this
James
is a
Wan
message.
movie I've ever seen.
Huh?
What? You never watched the original Saw?
I opened up. No, I've never seen Saw. I've never seen The Conjuring. I didn't see.
You never saw?
Aquaman. I didn't see.
Like,
Wait,
Saw one's
is
good.
Insidious that
See Saw.
one where there's like a huge black void between two weird houses? I've seen
Yeah.
Insidious, and I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Serious was cool.
Insidious,
it's
people
fine.
are like, this
Never
is
mind, this is
amazing.
the
It's
second
so
James Wan
fucking
movie I've
scary. And I'm just like, it's not really scary, but okay.
It's,
He
it's a-
directed some random ass shit. He directed Aquaman. He directed Furious 7. He
Mhm.
directed something called Doggy Heaven.
doggy heaven.
Doggy Heaven.
It's like all dogs go to heaven, but dumber.
That's like
Doggy
the
heaven.
fucking Walmart version of it, I
I guess
guess.
he only
Pinnacle.
directed that one Saw movie too. That's weird.
Pinnacle of the horror genre, right there. Doggy Heaven.
Doggy
Hmm.
Heaven.
Yeah, I give it a light recommendation. This movie. There were some shots that were shot really well. Like it also like the scenery like went from some parts of the city was not like the city. It looked like they were in a bumfuck of middle of nowhere at times, but they were in the city. Maybe that's Midwest city life, I guess.
That's Midwest metropoli.
Fucking
Is that-
Detroit.
Is that the
You guys
plural?
forgot. That's my theme. Remember? The
Everything's in
theme-
Detroit.
Yeah, every movie we watched took place in Detroit, and it's really depressing.
Detroit and or dinosaur.
Detroit Dinosaur Cop.
Your theme is D words.
I gave you the D. 6 weeks of the D. There it is. We figured it out. Actually, yeah, but of course, but that's another reason I wanted to make sure we wrapped up in some time. I wanted to take a minute and see if we got to our
Oh
theme
yeah,
guest,
I don't hate this movie at all. There's parts about it I like, but I think it's another one of those movies that just like skirts the line between. I have recommended worse movies than this, but I don't really recommend Death Sentence, if that makes sense. But you know, the other side of that is I would never stop someone who wanted to see it. If someone was like, I might watch Death Sentence, Kevin Bacon movie, I'd be like, yeah, it's okay.
It's better
Like,
than Requiem.
I wouldn't. Yeah, it's better than Requiem for a Dream in my
Spoilers.
opinion. But yeah, I wouldn't stop anyone from seeing it. But if someone wanted to watch, a revenge movie or something, it wouldn't be the one I recommend. If that makes sense. Again, I don't. I'm not like fuck this movie, it sucks. It's just. Exactly.
That's fair.
I kind of liked it. Yeah, it's like a weird recommendation. It falls into like some kind of weird middle ground. So you have to like ask somebody questions, I guess. So it's
That
like,
makes sense.
do you like revenge movies? Yes. Do you like Kevin Bacon? Yes. Does it bother you when movies like tonally shift a lot? And if they hesitate, then you go, okay, watch this movie. It's like what
I
you
got
do.
a product for you, ShamWow.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those episodes of Dave Chappelle show where he's like, when keeping it real goes wrong?
Yeah.
That's like the revenge, like cowboy story. Like it's that version of this when he was like, I'm gonna keep it real and I'm gonna fucking get my revenge, and then it goes all wrong.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I was laughing too because I just realized your name was Taken Bacon.
Oh, you just caught it. Yeah.
Just
I even
caught
have
it.
Take it,
never-
but with bacon.
very serious Kevin Bacon picture right there too.
Yeah, he's my favorite Guardian of the Galaxy.
Do you think that you think he's kind of an underrated actor? It's weird. It's like he's like not really like a big star, and he's not really known for like a lot of movies. Like all people say Footloose, and some people will bring up A Few Good Men and like fucking
Look, straight up, I fucking love Tremors.
Tremors. That was the other.
Tremors.
Hollow Man.
He's in Friday the 13th. He was
That's
in one of the
right.
Friday the 13th films. Yeah,
That's
he was
right.
so-
I forgot
Yeah.
about that. Yeah,
He's in like
First
3
Kevin
or
Bacon
something.
movie I ever saw
Yeah.
was Hollow Man.
yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he's in Hollow Man too. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's weird. He has like a weird career.
I feel like he's one of those actors that if he's directed really well, he does a really good job. And that's not a slight against him at all. Like I think like Nicolas Cage is the extreme that, and
yes,
I think Kevin Bacon is more of the like the
moderate.
the moderate, the control of that.
And Keanu Reeves is the low.
Like he's not going to go off the rails, really. Like
yeah,
he's professional.
Yeah, but he's I mean, he's in like Apollo 13, and it's got a really good director, and he's really good in that. That kind of thing. Yeah.
And I liked him in A Few Good Men too. Is the asshole prosecutor?
Oh yeah, that was him.
Yeah,
I forgot.
Or
about
he
that.
played in the movie called The Woodsman in 2004, where he played a child molester, returns to his hometown after 12 years in prison and attempts to start a new life. He does that.
Okay.
Wow, what a fucking story. We're gonna watch that soon.
You know what else? He's the voice of Balto.
Hey,
he was also the bad guy in X-Men First Class.
And that's right.
Random.
Was he?
Oh, yeah, he was.
See, he's just got like
He's
really
all over the place, isn't he? Yeah,
really strange career. Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Nixon. I again, not that we can keep going on. I'm just like looking through all the different movies. He has done a great job of like several decades now of keeping himself relevant enough and being in random things. But it's exactly what you'd said. As long as he has good direction and he's not getting in his own way, I think he's good. I think that's actually one of the things of this movie that suffers. The large actors that really stand out on camera get in their own way in this movie because of what they do. Like John Goodman's character just is a little too much.
I was excited about him, but he's got there's like big thick glasses. He's like, I'm pissed off all the time.
I thought he was going to be a detective, by the way. I thought he was. I thought he was going to be like trying to like track down Kevin Bacon. He's like, nah, he's just some gangster son's boss or whatever.
The character he plays is just like, I cuss a lot. He's the character.
And he's just like a shitty person, and he's the whole thing, right? But anybody else pop whenever the son finally killed him, and it was like, great, I don't have to listen to that shit anymore. They just
I was confused about how he did it because he had the gun down here, but the bullet went straight through his glasses and into his eye.
Yeah,
it had magic bullets or something. I don't know.
You
ever see Wanted? He bullet curved. He did the shit.
Yeah, you know how it happened, right? Directed by James Wan.
I thought Kevin Bacon like shot a sniper rifle or whatever, or like he shot.
Yeah, for a split second, I was like, "Did he fucking kill him too?" Just
that would have been cool. That would have been cool. I would have liked that.
No, okay, hold on.
Like
it is that, but
like I missed. He's like, "Dad, you're dead," and then they have a big fight.
Okay, hear me out. It's the same scene where you see it like that, and you're like, "Oh shit, he got shot in the back," and then it zooms way out, and Kevin Bacon's up on a rooftop, and he's got the double barrel shotgun.
Yes.
Because it makes no
He's
fucking
been playing
sense.
some Rainbow Six.
Rainbow Six Siege. Or Rainbow Six fucking Vegas. Never mind. I said Siege.
Vegas, that's right.
All right.
Fuck.
Alrighty. Does anyone have guesses left on the theme? I burned my two.
Well, you guys go. Just give me a second.
You doing some? Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. We're gonna vamp.
Thing.
I had a guess, and then like when I looked at all these movies, I saw there was this big hole in that, and I was like, oh, I can't do that anymore. Which was like,
what's a good revenge movie? Is it just Death Wish? Is that just it?
I
know
Death
there's
Wish,
more.
Kill Bill.
I spit on your grave, I guess.
Kill Bill.
Both Kill Bills.
Kill Bill, yeah, of course. Kill Bill is my
great revenge movies. I mean, Taken is revenge. Those are
I
good.
still haven't seen Taken. Can you believe that?
They're cool.
You watched Taken.
Taken gave Liam Neeson like a whole second career of just grumpy action grandpa.
Yeah,
It's
I've seen The
amazing.
Gray, which is him.
Not
being
even that.
character.
Like there are like 4 actors that rode the coattails. Like fuck, I hate saying it, but Denzel Washington managed to squeak out 2 movies, like based on Liam Neeson's premise of Taken. Just like
Man on
I'm gonna
Fire,
be that.
right? That's a revenge.
That one was before, so
Yeah,
technically he was
before,
already
but
saying
it's still
Equalizer. Equalizer's the movie I was thinking of.
Oh yeah,
like,
I like that movie too.
Yeah, that movie was pretty badass. I've never watched the second one, but like that whole premise of like, this guy is way over the top in terms of like what he's good at. Who was the other actor? Who's the guy who played Fat Batman?
Val Kilmer.
No, not that.
No, he became
Batman.
fat later.
No, he became fat later. No, he was fat while he was Batman. He has a butt chin.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck's in that movie The Accountant where he's autistic, but he's like really fucking good at killing people. He becomes an autistic hitman. again, it's the same premise, except they just added a bunch of dumb extreme shit to it.
He has killing autism.
They were like, "Oh, he's a savant. What's his specialty? Murder."
You know what? I googled revenge movies, and Google has reminded me that Harakiri is a revenge movie.
That's her. Yeah.
They did. Zach
That's a
gets
pretty
it right.
goddamn good one.
Oh
Yeah.
no, we started talking about revenge movies.
We waited on you.
Yeah, we've
We
Okay.
did a thing. We did a bit.
So
Andy needs to watch Taken. That was the premise of the whole thing.
is the theme chaos? Is it like chaos the theme? No,
Is-
because
Is AEW booking? Is that what it is?
Sundays.
Who has guesses left?
I already used my two.
Remember, I gave you it's a.
I think Zach is
mean-
last.
I don't have a guess.
Okay, the theme. I'll just give it.
Hang
I
on.
guess.
Can I take a free guess? And
I mean, yeah. At this point,
You can have my guess.
Everyone can just take one free shot and just go for it.
I had one more guess. Is it hubris?
No, that's close. So remember, I said it was
Mine are all close, apparently.
No, you guys you're guessing too far into the scope. It was just a very general term. That's why I told you
Movies.
guys before. Film?
It's a movie.
My theme is movies. This is all about movies.
I am Andy. Want to cinema?
Moving pictures,
Oh
actors,
man.
directors, writers.
For servants?
Oh my goodness.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
This was 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. There's 6
And
movies. See,
Kevin
look, I did it.
Bacon. That's right.
I'm sure you could play 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon with these movies, but and actually that was the joke I was originally gonna do is make a mystery theme around 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, but I didn't go that far. So
That would've
the
been really
mystery
clever.
theme is drum roll. La, 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 la. Cautionary tales.
I would have never fucking guessed that.
You guys were all guessing what like different types of cautionary tales. So these are all cautionary tales. Every single one of them is a lesson in you shouldn't have done that. You fucked up. And you can find out. That's what it is.
So
The more you fuck around, the more you find out, like the chart. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I will say this. Terminator 2 is a loose one, but I wanted to throw it in there because I just didn't want to watch the other movie I
Don't
chose.
trust computers. Don't
But,
download that AI.
but in general, the
I
whole
know
movie
it makes
happens
sexy
because
anime ladies, but don't download
when it
it.
says to get a free iPad, don't click on the button, please.
Wait, what's Barbarian? What's that?
Yeah,
in
what's-
caution?
don't
Don't
trust
get an
people.
Airbnb?
Yeah, don't
'Cause I
do
already learned
Airbnb.
that lesson.
Okay, so what's funny is, all right. So if you're ready for this, I'm still like sitting on that one because I just looked up to try to find newer. I wanted like a varied amount of movies. I wanted to find newer movies that were considered cautionary tales, and the first one that came up was Barbarian in the list that I saw. So I was like, well, I don't want to spoil anything. So we watched it, and I was like, well, the fuck, how does this fit in my theme?
So there was a freaking red herring in there then.
Not necessarily. I think part of it is
Well,
it's
cautious-
cautionary tale. Like one, like there is the premise of people are so easy to like just think, okay, I'll
Manipulate.
just get the cheapest possible fucking place to go stay. So like the whole thing with the craze of Airbnbs are okay. Well, I'll do this to save a buck. I was like, well, no, look what you put yourself into. But also like the whole idea of living in like the actual greater part of it with cautionary tales is living your life within the confines of stereotypes. Like she like lived a certain way and thought a certain way in her own stereotypes, and it almost ended up proving to be her downfall twice because of
And she
Yeah,
also didn't have a
what
trust
happened?
for men too, so that she was cautious about men. And then they like went through Justin Long's character, and then what do you call it? That actual rapist guy that lived in the fucking underground basement thing.
yeah.
So I guess so.
The other cautionary tale is if you find a hidden door in a basement of a place that you're renting, get the fuck out of there.
Unless you can make money off of
Unless
it,
you
real
own the
estate,
place,
baby.
then get
Holy
it,
shit!
man.
I can make so much more money. No,
In the actual true honest to god real cautionary tale of that movie is just don't go to fucking Detroit.
Another
Yeah.
real cautionary tale is don't be cheap all the time.
Just
Don't-
sometime.
Don't just sometimes. See, it's like, that's why I always get my own room in hotels. I don't fucking room with anybody because I don't know what they do at night, and they don't know what I do at night either. Yeah, see, exactly.
Everyone knows what you're doing at night.
Yeah, sleeping. Just sleeping.
Watching Kurt Angle perk videos.
I'm watching Kurt Angle perk videos, be like, God damn, I wish I could have some Percocets, and I wish I could win the Olympics, and I wish I could be a wrestler, and I can't do any of that shit. Except maybe get
You can if you
Percocets.
believe in yourself. Yeah, you can probably get some Percocets. I mean, you live in the right part of the country.
It's true.
So, ranking time, because that's our gimmick.
Yeah.
So,
No
I
gimmick
will go-
infringement.
I will go first on my list, and then Andy, and then Zach, or Chaz has his, unless Zach, you want to go last, since I don't see anything there.
I guess I always go last on this, I guess. Let's
Okay.
just stick with tradition.
Okay, so I picked number 6, Requiem for a Dream, which I think everybody's doing that. Number 5 is
classic.
Number 5 is Death Sentence. Number 4 is Barbarian. Number 3 is American History X. Number 2 is Jurassic Park for me, and I'm putting Terminator over, baby. I have to. So Terminator 2 Judgment Day is number 1. Andy, what about you?
Chaz, you want to just tell everyone what both of our selections are?
Yeah, so Andy and I have the same one. Although I will say, caveat in mind, I really considered trying to argue to say that there was a tie between mine because 1 and 2 could really just flip. But
No.
6 is Requiem for a Dream because drugs are bad. 5 is Death Sentence because it was directed by James Wan. 4 is Barbarian because it doesn't fit the theme of my secret theme. Sorry, guys. Number 3 is American History X because Nazis.
Bite the curb.
But bite the curb, yeah. So I really do feel like depending on how the wind blows and my mood is, I could literally flip between the top 2 because both are so iconic, right? But I ended up, I think more often than not, just because there's just that, I don't know, there's something a little more nostalgic for me with Jurassic Park. So I have T2 Judgment Day at number 2, and I have Jurassic Park at 1. But it really feels like a coin flip. Like it could
I'm
really
pretty
be
much
either way.
like I said, mine's identical to Chaz's, and I'm kind of right there with him. Like Terminator 2, I considered putting in the number 1 slot, but honestly, if I did that, my childhood self would time travel and come kick my ass. So Jurassic Park it is. And honestly, I think Jurassic Park, like I think I like both of them equally, but I think Jurassic Park might technically be a better movie.
Yeah. I actually think that like what's funny is of the films we watch, the 2 films that I chose that were like the big like blockbuster movies might actually be the 2 best cautionary tales of the things I chose, especially Jurassic Park. Like I love the general theme of just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, don't
That
be
is
mad.
the greatest cautionary tale of all time. Like fucking make dinosaurs. Well, they're the fucking human race again. Good job.
It's like, yeah, don't be God and make dinosaurs again. And then the other one's like, please don't make an AI because they're going to kill us all.
I mean, even if that doesn't happen, I played Final Fantasy X. I know what happened.
You can chat with an AI on fucking Snapchat now. Go to town.
Mm.
Zach, what's yours?
Okay. You paste it.
Ooh, boy,
Pasting.
let's see it. I'm ready.
Wait, it's being done.
Oh no,
Here-
it's a
here we
pasting.
go.
It's a
I got
pasting.
it.
Ah, we have a challenge.
Yeah. So I got Requiem for a Dream at 6, 4.1 out of 10. That's that's not really that terrible of a score, but it's not good. Death Sentence at 5, 6.4 out of 10. Barbarian at 4, 6.9 out of 10. American History X at 3, 7.9 out of 10. Jurassic Park at 2, 8.6 out of 10. Terminator 2 at 1, 9.0 out of 10.
Whoa, nice.
One of the
Okay.
highest rated movies I have rated on this show.
Mm-hmm. So
That'd be
we
good.
all agree with 6, Requiem of a Dream, 5, Death Sentence, 4, Barbarian, 3, American History X. The only difference is Andy and Chaz has chosen Jurassic Park at number 1, and then me and Zach chose Terminator 2 at number 1. So Team Terminator versus Team Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park team, state your case.
I fold immediately. Just put Terminator 2 at number 1.
Yeah,
It's not worth it. I don't have much for this.
I was
Close.
gonna
It's real close.
thinking, like if a Terminator came back to that era and had to fight a T-Rex, who would win? And the T-Rex will
Arnold.
just eat the Terminator, but not really. The Arnold will
Not
win.
really.
So
Can't really eat that. He'll punch a hole in his stomach and come out.
yeah,
See,
exactly.
I like Jurassic Park. I never got into like Jurassic World movies because it's like it's not capturing the same magic that Jurassic Park was.
Nah,
And-
that
and
was
I'm
like
not-
lightning in a bottle kind of shit.
Yeah, and
Kind of
I'm
like
not-
Terminator.
yeah, in a sense,
No.
yeah. Same.
That is kind of another notch for Terminator, though, is that Terminator was interesting enough that there are 2 good movies. Jurassic Park was interesting enough that there is 1 good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Ah,
hey.
No, we're not gonna. No, you can't argue that. I win.
No.
I,
You can be like, I kind of like Jurassic World, or I kind of like Terminator 3. You like it. Not everyone does. Everyone likes Jurassic Park, and everyone likes Terminator and T2.
Well, not everyone likes all movies anyway. What kind of
Yeah.
argument's that?
I think the vast majority of the target audience would say they like those 3 movies, and the other
Mhm.
ones I think you'd have an argument about. People would be like, "Oh, I'm fucking Lost World. Oh, it goes to San Diego and there's a T-Rex there. That's stupid. I don't
You'd
like
be
fun."
surprised. I don't know. I'm being surprised more. Like I joined random groups on Facebook for like movies and shit, and goddamn, you'd be surprised what some people say about like what are considered to be like the best movies of all time.
Yeah, like Requiem of a Dream.
yeah, people
But,
are
yeah.
fucking retarded. I
that's
would
true.
listen to that.
Like I'm in a horror movie group, and I've seen a bunch of posts in it about people saying The Shining sucks and it's boring. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
some
what the
people say The
fuck?
Exorcist.
There's like this
sucks,
born
too.
again thing where people like The Shining was popular for too long, so now people have to hate it.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't think for themselves. They don't watch The Shining and say, I'm entertained by this. I like this movie. They just, they get their opinions from idiots on Facebook, and then they go, well, I don't like this movie either, and these are the reasons why.
Well,
But
yeah,
you think you watched The Shining, you said, I like The Shining, so you can see when these people are saying stuff on Facebook. Say, oh, that's stupid.
Well, there's people that are like The Exorcist sucks and stuff, and it's not scary. Well, what I say with this is that the time has changed, so I understand that it's not scary because it is kind of funny when you see like her taking the cross and like fucking herself with it and all that stuff. Like that's
Well,
kind of hilarious.
When
But
everybody's been desensitized by a bunch of extreme violence and shit. It goes back to what I was saying in the movie chat, a different chat group on Facebook, where it's like people have like a weird sense of like what falls into the horror genre anyway, where it's just like,
Big
oh, if
time.
it's just like incredibly violent shit, that's a horror movie. And it's like, not exactly.
And that's what we were talking regarding Criterion, I guess.
Yeah.
Mhm. But Chaz, do you want to defend Jurassic Park?
Nah. I mean, I set it up when I was talking. Like, I could literally change on one or the other. So I'm happy to put Arnold at the top. I don't have any qualms with that. I do take a little bit of offense. Not offense necessarily, but I would argue that Jurassic World is a fine movie objectively. Like, it is not.
It's fine, but it isn't like timeless. It isn't a cultural touchstone like.
Well,
Jurassic
you just
Park
said
is.
good.
Yeah.
You didn't say timeless and shit originally. Now you're moving the goalpost a little. But no.
And T2.
And honestly, Jurassic World is a good movie. Good movie. The same way that Force Awakens is a good movie. They're like cheating. They're just giving you shit they know you already like.
Was Force Awakens a good movie?
No.
Exactly.
But it was a cultural, it was a cinematic event.
Now, The Last Jedi.
Like Barbie.
And with that, I think we have an ad. No.
No, I want to say also a disclaimer real quick. I was a huge Jurassic Park kid when it came out. I have a fucking bunch of nostalgia for that movie too. But having gotten older and taste buds changing a little bit, I think Terminator 2 is just better.
Well, I was never a mark for like dinosaurs anyway. Like,
I was a huge mark for dinosaurs. Oh my god, I still am. There's not enough dinosaur video games. I'm still pissed off about that.
yeah, Dino Crisis. Fuck you, Capcom, you piece of shit.
Fucking preach, man.
Oh my god.
We have all this technology and there's no damn dinosaur games. What the fuck?
Capcom, take our fucking money. What's wrong with you?
Here's Exoprimal. No, you dipshits. We want Dino Crisis. God damn it.
Isn't there dinosaurs in that or something? Or
Yeah.
did they make
Yes.
that up?
There's dinosaurs in it. It's just like
Dinosaur
everybody.
game, they're trying.
And well, it was also some multiplayer shit. People wanted Dino Crisis. They just
And
didn't
there's a
read the
redhead
manual.
protagonist fucking teasing us, you fucks.
That's another thing.
Yeah. Before we get to the ad, I kind of just want to mention this because I did say season 1 finale. Yes, So this is a season finale. What does that mean? So we're going to be going on a little hiatus, about like a month-ish, because we are going to be going into recording phase. So live is kind of going to go away. Live is only going to be special. There's going to be special episodes where certain episodes might be live or not. Don't know if that is the case, but I want to take away live, and we're just going to be doing recording. And the format is going to not change too much. It's just going to change as far as the coming attractions. I'm looking at the Google Doc right now. Will be reserved for ads or upcoming projects for the Big Trouble Network, which, you know, obviously Zach is working on their game. And then the podcast to surpass Metal Gear, which Andy will be doing, will come in attractions, and you'll see trailers for that there.
If
then you have the main
cooperates.
Yes. And then the main content is going to change a little bit. We're still going to talk about how we usually talk about movies or TV show episodes, but we're going to break it down into three things. One, the highs and the lows, which we kind of talk about now, is where, like, what is good about it, what's bad about it. And then two, fun facts, where we can discuss about behind the scenes or neat facts about the media. So, you know, like when Andy talks about, like, oh, it was in a book or something, or they did it this way behind the scenes, like Stanley Kubrick did it this way, or David Lynch did it this way. That's where we can talk about that stuff. And three, current ranking. Me and Zach actually do this on Lost in Nightmares, where we kind of rank stuff after we do an episode. Now, you're probably saying, well, the first episode, where can I rank it? You could be ballsy and be like, this movie sucks, and I'm just going to put it last right now. And you could change it down the road if you want to. But I think it'd be fun to see where we rank it at the end of the episode, you know, every episode until we get to the final episode.
Are we? It sounds like we're just like a tier list with extra steps. Sounds like you want to pull up Tier Maker and start throwing our movies in Tier Maker.
No, not really. I don't want to do that.
Oh no, I'm real excited. That's the project I want to eventually pull off when I can get the rest of my shit together. But coming soon, we'll see.
Coming soon. That's check out.
Finally, a podcast where they mess around with tiers.
Yeah.
That will be in the coming attractions when
I have a name. I actually came up with a really cool name finally. But I'll save it for later.
Yeah, don't say it, because then someone listening will be like, that's a good name, and I'm going to steal it, and then you lose it forever.
No. Oh, no. I'm saving it. I'll tell you guys off the air.
And then we have to death sentence them.
Yes, we have to fucking Kevin Bacon shave our hair and fucking put in our son's leather jacket and start shooting up a place. But then the final, it's recognizable, but I just changed the name of it. It's called Host Credits Scene. Playing on the words of post-credit scenes. It's kind of like the last word. And I will mention in the episode that when we record this is when we, you know, what the hell we've been watching, playing, or doing, so that people are just like, hey, wait a minute, that game just came out last week and you're talking about it now? People are going to know that it's recorded and shit, so...
Anyone who's listened to this show before knows that we don't exactly play stuff timely, for that matter.
Yeah.
I'm about to talk about a game that came out in 2003, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to record the episodes, and they're going to be nicely edited to be a little bit more professional for all podcast services. And I'll do some clips on YouTube pointing you to the podcast services so that we get more traction that way. Yes.
Sorry.
So anyway, I'm going to hit you with an ad, and let's hear from our, you know what? We're just doing a regular ad.
Wrestling nerds, wrestling weebs, wrestling fans. If you're looking for a different kind of podcast, one that goes over actual big wrestling news, I mean real stories, not somebody getting divorced or baseless rumors or whatnot, at Get Some Color, we got that. We also do reviews of wrestling from the past, but sometimes we also do wrestling from the modern day too, if it's something that interests us at the time. Other than that, I would say the main attraction is just three guys who have been lifelong wrestling fans doing what wrestling fans do. Cutting up, cracking jokes, and just enjoying the entertainment wrestling can provide, however that comes. If you want to catch Getting Some Color, you can catch it bi-weekly on Thursdays 10 p.m. Eastern, usually.
What the fuck was that?
Your sound
my-
card just went bad.
That's my stylophone. That's my sound blaster. It died.
Sound Blaster 5000 coming at your ears locally. Sorry.
All right, we're in the second half of the show. I've assumed my second half of the show position. That's where I lean back and I bring the mic into to where I'm at.
Yes. Last word, which soon will be the host credit scene. So, anyway, this is where we'll be talking about what the hell we watching, playing, or doing, and some news that we're talking about. Which, by the way, news will not be in there because when we talk about it, the news will be fucking old as shit. So, news will be taken out as well when we talk about that. I'll go first. I watched Lost Highway for the first time before before the recording of this episode.
Yeah.
Dude, that movie is fucking great. Robert Blake, dude, I also read up that Robert Blake told David Lynch that's how he's gonna look. He's gonna put the white makeup on, shave his eyebrows and shit. And David Lynch told him, "Now you don't have to act because you look creepy already."
It's very David Lynch.
Yeah. So, David Pullman's in there as well.
Bill
How
Pullman?
great is the soundtrack?
Bill Pullman, sorry.
Oh yeah, soundtrack's amazing.
Soundtrack's amazing. I got a question for you guys. At the end, when he's going down the highway, the Lost Highway,
I'm not going to give you any concrete answers about the end of that movie. I'm sorry.
do you think he like gets the electric chair, and that's what is kind of happening? That
I do think the narrative of the movie is a circle instead of a line. I think that's David Lynch's Lynchian bullshit twist. I think the beginning of the movie is the end of the movie.
But yeah, that's why he's like he went in the beginning of the movie when he goes to the intercom of the bell. He's like that mobster guy died and shit. And that's what happens at the end. Pretty much comes full circle. But man, like it's such a ride. Like David Lynch tells a story, but he does it in such a fucking weird way. Which people talk about it, and obviously when people say, "Can you elaborate on that?" No.
No. People talk about his fucking whatever movie or story for years and years and years, and it never ends.
Mm-hmm. But that's one of the, because I mentioned before the show, I only watched the Twin Peaks movie, and then I'd watch actually Dune. Dune was actually the other movie that I actually watched because
I will kill him.
Yeah, and
I will kill him.
I will kill him.
And then
you should watch Blue Velvet. I mean, Blue Velvet's like a nice, digestible movie, but it's still Lynchian and strange. It's got Kyle MacLachlan and Laura Dern in it, and who's
Bowser.
Frank? Yeah, it's got Bowser in it. That's right. not the new Bowser, the old Bowser.
Yeah.
I do
But
want
it's
to
great.
Mulholland Drive because I heard that's another one of his weird movies and shit.
Mulholland Drive's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I
Mulholland Drive, Lost Highway, and Inland Empire form a thematic trilogy.
Yeah. Inland Empire's fucking trip too, man. Oh my god.
I don't really like Inland Empire much.
I understand why somebody wouldn't like it, but I don't know. I do. So
Yeah, I mean it's got stuff in it to like. It's just I don't like it that much. Though I mean Lost Highway is my favorite though, so my opinions are fucking bullshit. I just I flip a coin and then this is my favorite one.
Oh look, I like movies, I guess.
I wish he would tie like his weather reports on YouTube.
I like movies.
With his movies. that would be
He's
hilarious.
cheating now. He doesn't do, you know how he always announced when it was Friday?
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
He cheats now. They're all replays and they just cut out the date and someone is posting them for them and they're putting, it's August, whatever, 27th, 2023, ... And then it's a video and it starts where he says it's a Friday once again. They just cut out the date. So
Can you believe it? David Lynch is hilarious.
National treasure.
Have you seen What Did Jack Do on Netflix?
Not yet.
Watch. It's like 17 minutes long. Watch that. I love it. It's so good. People despise it because it's like it doesn't make any sense, and they keep waiting for like something to happen. No, what you're seeing is what's supposed to happen. Just watch it. It's great.
I gotta, Andy, did you see the third season of Twin Peaks?
No, not yet.
Oh.
I have Blu-ray.
I think Zach, have you seen the third season?
Oh yeah.
Dude, the fucking, I don't even want to say it. The last episode of the third season is kind of like a fuck you to the fans, but it's like so great.
It's good. I like stuff like that.
It's
I think
not
that's
really-
the only David Lynch directed thing I've never seen.
I don't think that's necessarily it's a fuck you, but that's all.
It's kind of like an analogy. Be like, we really don't need this season, so I'm just gonna make it. And
I don't really think
But
that's what it is.
Don't spoil it. It's recent enough that let's not spoil it too much because
Yeah.
I do plan to watch it sometime this year, maybe October. I don't know. Who knows?
well, you're on a
can't-
Sopranos kick. I would say.
Yeah, that's the
I'll
thing, is I'm trying
follow
to-
it up.
Wipe out Sopranos right now.
Yeah. Gaming wise, I haven't been doing anything because I've been taking care of like all the pets in the house and shit, and kind of like, because I don't know if you see on my messy bed that the sheets are fucking peeling off, because when I lay in bed, my whole body likes to drag the sheets because I'm a fucking big whale. But like that binder, I bought a binder because I'm kind of switching my writing to like analog, because I feel like trying to type a novel and stuff is so distracting on computers these days, because obviously the internet, and I know there's apps that you could like drown out all the fucking internet stuff, but like it's like a fucking drug. Like your brain is like, I need more dopamine, please give me it. Turn on the internet browser, see what's happening in the world, and I'm just like, fuck you, and I'm just like, I'm gonna go do that. So,
There's something about writing pen to paper. It holds more with you or something. I don't know. There's something about that.
I
wanna
think
get
it
a
helps
fountain
you
pen.
remember what you did more. Because when I type stuff, I have to refer back to it. But back when I did my Dungeon Master notes, pen and paper, I would like remember them without having to refer to them. That makes sense.
Mhm.
But I also can't read my own handwriting because I'm like a Neanderthal, so I switched to type 2.
Get a typewriter.
I have that problem. Can't read my handwriting, and I write like a weird way, so it cramps the fuck out of my hand.
Well,
so-
you're a doctor. No one can read your handwriting.
You just
That's part
write
of
an
your
X,
profession.
right?
Yeah.
You squiggle.
Stole my joke.
Percocets.
That's a nice
Dopamine.
thing, though. Every story I've ever written can be turned in for heroin, so basically.
Ritalin.
Yeah, I have the same thing with like, I get cramps in my hands, but I think like once I write a lot, it'll like my muscle in my hands will be like, hey, you do this normally, stop cramping. So hopefully that will happen soon. But like, I'm like, ow, this hurts. I'm writing words. It fucking hurts my hand. Stop it. But yeah, I did that. Trying to think what else I watched. I just been watching a bunch of YouTube stuff. Just a bunch of WWE stuff where it's like just random clips and stuff. I watched a video like Triple H talking about, like, you know that part where the table breaks apart when he's doing the pedigree and Kurt Angle hits his head on top of the fucking TV monitor.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit! Where he actually got concussed and he had to like get him through the match.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty infamous. Yeah.
Yeah, he was talking about that and shit, and like he's like snoring and and he's like, we got to get him on a stretcher and get him out of here, kind of thing. So I thought that was kind of funny. And yeah, that's all I've done. Not a lot of stuff. Andy, what about you?
Mine's pretty easy. I watched a whole bunch more of The Sopranos. I'm like halfway through season 4, or maybe I'm toward the end of season 4. I'm not keeping track. I just kind of watch an episode when I can. Played a bunch of Eternal Darkness. I think I spoiled for myself that it's 12 chapters long, and I'm about to begin chapter 10
11.
or 9.
Fuck.
9 or 10. I can't remember. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I both love and hate the chapter structure of it, because a lot of the times I'll sit down to play it and I'll beat a full chapter, which is what I do pretty much every time I sit down to play it. But sometimes I feel like, oh, I want to play a little bit more, but I don't want to play a whole chapter's worth more. And I know you can save in the middle of a chapter, but it feels nice to just do a chapter at a time. So that's what I've been doing. And I spent like more than 2 hours one evening downloading and figuring out how to get to work up an emulator for the Nokia N-Gage so I could play old N-Gage games, because there's a Metal Gear that was exclusive to the N-Gage and I had to play it. And so I did. Also, I downloaded some other N-Gage games just because it's like, well, I went through all this trouble. I might as well give them
You played the Resident Evil one yet?
I downloaded it. I did not try it.
I actually played it. It's interesting. Yes.
No, I read up on it a little bit. It said it's worth playing. The Metal Gear one is actually pretty good, and apparently the Star Wars Force Unleashed one is one of the best games on the console. So I downloaded that.
Well, I remember going to FuncoLand when they were still around.
FuncoLand.
Yeah, and there was like an N-Gage section in FuncoLand. So
There is an N-Gage section in GameStops.
still,
There was. I mean, like, I think I remember them phasing it out in like 06.
I played one at an AT&T store once.
oh yeah, that's right.
Man, we could have had a future where like N-Gage was the shit, and we didn't.
How much are they going for?
You mean
by
the
the way,
darkest timeline?
I don't know. I don't think they're that much actually, because
That couldn't be.
some of them have like fucking battery problems and shit.
I don't know. I always think like, oh, that's bullshit. No one's going to care about that anymore. But then Virtual Boys are like $350. So I don't fucking know. Who
No, it's
knows?
because it's Nintendo bullshit. That's why.
Well, yeah. Also, like the Vectrex is expensive, and the Tiger .com is expensive.
I'm gonna blame that on like all the fucking internet videos that have been
VGN,
done
that's
on
why-
it.
That's whose fault it is. That
Tiger,
motherfucker.
but like the Vectrex, I think is just expensive because it's like a curio.
It's also old, and I think a lot of them are just straight up broke.
Yeah, they're broken old.
The only other thing I did is I also watched a bunch of YouTube and stuff. I'm trying to remember if there was anything worth mentioning. I watched a bunch of The Critic. Do you guys remember that cartoon? The
I
Critic?
remember that show. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a YouTube channel that just like plays the episodes like back to back to back to back, I guess, until
That's
someone strikes them and takes them down. So I just watched a bunch of The Critic. I fucking love that show. It's very funny. And then there's another, I guess I started discovering there's these YouTube channels that will just stream stuff as if they were broadcasting it until YouTube does something about it. Another one of them just shows the when Toonami was the Midnight Run thing. They just showed those back to back.
Oh,
So I sat there and watched like Gundam Wing, Tenchi Muyo, and Outlaw Star, just with the 90s commercials still plugged in.
Oh, that's
Which-
awesome.
Which
That's
is very
fucking
nostalgic. Every time I go, I remember this commercial because I saw all of them 600 times. After that, I actually went down a bit of a rabbit hole just about Outlaw Star. Like, God damn it, that series is so fucking good. I forgot that I had to get in my old CDs, and I have the second soundtrack. I was listening to it just on compact disc.
They had Venture Bros on YouTube Marathon. That's what I was doing too.
ooh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Funny.
that's what started it. I was watching Venture Brothers.
Ha.
So what's weird is that's a thing that's been going on for a while. Like, I've known about like finding random shows that just play 24/7 like that on repeat, and I've known about it for years now, but I've never actually used it for my own benefit. I knew about it
Yeah.
because the child, my little creature, when we needed her to sit still, we're like, "Here's Peppa Pig 24/7," and it literally just plays the entire catalog of Peppa Pig
Yeah.
until they just started over, and that's just what it is.
I was always like, I'll check on this later. But yeah, now I cracked the seal, and there's some good shit there. I'm sure it gets taken down just as often as not, but you know, I watched some Critic and then I watched some Toonami. There's plenty of stuff there for you.
Yeah, It's funny you guys brought up Venture Brothers too. I just recently saw something come up on I can't remember which app it was, Hulu or one of the others. And Venture Brothers came across, and I'm like, man, I haven't watched that in a while. Maybe
Well,
I'll
it's
go back
because
to
they
that.
just released the final. They made a movie to finish the whole series.
Oh, okay.
That's what like the
Yeah.
Venture Brothers stream was official. That's Adult Swim doing that.
Okay.
And they're doing
gotcha.
it to promote. It's a straight to DVD, straight to Blu-ray release of Venture Brothers. Radiant is the blood of the baboon heart. I guess it finishes the whole thing.
What a great name.
Adult Swim decided to do this really cool thing where they're actually going to like finish some of the series they started 15 years ago. So there's that, and then sometime in the next year or so, a movie's going to come out that's going to conclude the Metalocalypse story too. I'm looking forward.
Oh, that's good. I need that. I need to know how Squidbillies ended.
They're touring, by the way.
Oh yeah, the Death Clock's touring.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, that's a shout out. If you ever need something, just be like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" Watch a little bit of Squidbillies. Another fucking show.
I still all the time tell people working with me, fire and ice. Working with me, fire and ice.
Nice.
I've actually seen Death Clock live though. Come to think of it, just to
They're coming to Orlando in November.
gloat.
Oh, it's probably a pretty sick concert.
Yeah, I forgot who they're touring with. I'll check later.
Some losers, I'm sure. I don't know. I saw them with Mastodon, and Mastodon ruled.
Oh, Mastodon's such a good band live.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's it.
What are you up to in Sopranos?
The last thing that happened is I watched the beginning of an episode and then backed out. Paulie just got out of jail.
Okay.
He was in jail because he got picked up because of the sports betting around the Super Bowl at the end of the third season.
Okay.
And I can't remember what else happened.
Did you mix the ketchup with the relish?
Yeah, no, that's one of the best episodes of the whole damn show. I fucking love that episode. That's toward the end of season 3, I think. But yeah, Christopher and Paulie have to take this Russian guy out to the Pine Barrens in the middle of winter in New Jersey to kill him. It turns out he used to be like Spetsnaz and killed like a bunch of Chechen soldiers at some point. So he like gives him the slip and runs off into the woods in his underwear. And they are trying to find him, even though it looks like Paulie shot him in the back of the head. And he's bleeding, but they still can't find him. And then they get lost and they have to spend the night in like an old cable repair van. And they find like a bag from a fast food place that has ketchup and relish in it. And they just suck it right out of the things because they're starving and freezing to death. It's a very funny episode. As you can tell, it's hilarious.
That sounds funny.
It's very.
Is Chris high yet and making like scripts for movies? Okay.
Christopher, I really want to talk to someone about The Sopranos, so we're going to do a little bit of it so I can get my micro dose of Sopranos conversation. Every storyline that Christopher gets involved in, I go, this is a horrible idea. This is not going to end the way he wants it to end. He's like the most star-crossed character in the whole goddamn show. Everything that he tries to get into goes badly. And now he's like hooked on heroin, and his wife is a major spoiler, I guess, but the series came out years ago. His wife has been picked up by the FBI. So.
Yes. Okay. I was about to say, did Adriana like talk with the FBI yet? Okay.
So that just started. Like she doesn't want to, but they're like forcing her to. And then like everything else that has happened, like they tried to like produce music, and he tried like when he got made, he didn't have the sports money for Paulie, and Paulie kind of had to be a dick to him. And it's like, well, no, what did you think would fucking happen, Christopher? God damn it. That character pisses me off so much because I like him a lot, but everything he does is like, why are you doing this? This is going to end poorly. And then it always ends poorly.
Yeah, just wait.
Don't spoil it for me. I'm working on it.
Okay.
Maybe even by next week, I'll be done, I think.
Okay.
But that's it. I watched a bunch of Sopranos and fucking YouTube shit and played Engage games for no reason at all.
All right, taking bacon. It's your turn.
It's my turn? Okay, it's my turn. I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark because my brother hadn't ever really seen it, so he watched it.
Always a good time to watch that.
Yeah. He showed me a little bit of this American Gladiators documentary on Netflix called Muscles and Mayhem. That fucking show, the way it started off is like bizarre. Like it literally starts like some guy who was like an Elvis impersonator and a TV executive was just like, oh man, I got this idea for the show, American Gladiators. And then it's like, what's the show about? I don't know. I just got a name. It's a good name. And it's like, I'm not kidding. And then they had to like come up and it's like, well, it'll be like a game show with like regular people against, I don't know, fucking athletes. They got a guy who was a football player who recently retired because he tore his Achilles tendon. So he couldn't play football anymore. And he was like the first American Gladiator. And it was just like, you know, fucking nobodies or like, well, actually it was random stunt people out in LA. And they were doing like stupid games because at first they just had no idea how to put this show together. Like I'm talking about when they did the pilot in like 1987. And like, it was like dumb shit. Like they put a bunch of like styrofoam shapes on like a trampoline and it was like somebody jumps up and down on the trampoline, and you try to collect all the shapes, like somebody on the floor does. And it's like they're hoisted up like on a harness, and they keep like running them into the trampoline like pendulum style. Like they have to keep going in and out and grab it. It's like who the
That
fuck?
sounds
came
more
up
like
with this?
Double Dare.
Yeah, it's like weird
Yeah.
Double Dare shit. Like, it's just
That's what you were describing. I was thinking that it's like to be fair though, that sets the stage. Like nothing looks more early '90s than the actual set of American Gladiators or like Double Dare or Guts.
Guts, yeah, baby.
guts.
If you see
The
those, you're
Aggro
like,
Crag.
That's what-
"Ugh." Yeah.
Aggro Crag.
Fun
goddamn.
fact: I was almost a contestant on the Hidden and Lost Temple. I was almost
Legends of
gonna
the
be.
Hidden Temple.
Another
Yeah.
fun fact.
Hidden
You've mentioned
Temple.
that on the show before.
Did I?
Were you
Huh?
going to
Nice.
be a part of the?
It was like 200 episodes ago though.
Oh, yeah. So hey, if it helps, so we can tie it together. I've met the host. He is in my fraternity.
What the fuck?
Really?
Yeah. I met him at like a regional conference.
6 degrees of Chaz.
Is he
There
still
it is.
wearing those
6 degrees of
shorts today?
Chaz Bacon. No, he didn't wear the cargo shorts. He's kind of an asshole.
Were you going to be a member of the Silver Jaguars?
No, they were silver. I thought they were silver monkeys.
Whatever. I fucking who cares? Anyway,
Yeah.
I thought they were all alliteration.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
remember.
Silver
It's been
snakes.
silver
Yeah.
snakes. Yeah, silver snakes, blue barracudas, orange iguanas, which I was
Yeah, they
not.
were all alliteration.
Red jaguars.
That's
I
not
was gonna
alliteration.
uppercut one of the
It's
fucking
not.
natives when they were when I was trying to put the fucking
The
monkey
tiger
together.
uppercuts. Let's
Yeah.
go.
The tiger uppercut.
But no, I might watch more of that documentary. It was kind of interesting, and I remember like randomly seeing American Gladiators on TV when I was a kid. I'm like, this is cool. That guy got fucking wiped out by like a giant Q-tip. Like,
Hey, yeah, look at that guy. It's a wrestler. It's like a giant hamster wheel.
no, yeah, it's like some big wrestler motherfucker is like killing this stupid nerd with like a giant Nerf Q-tip. It was fucking cool.
3 minutes.
I always loved it because there's always like the end boss guy you had to play. I think Nitro was his name.
Mhm.
Because anytime they were like, you have to go against Nitro, and he's just like
They sound-
more than everyone else.
It was like a Mortal Kombat character or like somebody from Killer Instinct. Glacier, Laser,
Yeah.
Fulgor.
Wait, huh?
But Black Orchid. No, but anyway, I also watched some more of
Sonya
The-
Blade.
the Castlevania retrospective. I've been kind of hammering away at.
I still
to the
have it
point-
open in a tab. I'm gonna watch it eventually. I'm
Yeah,
always
it-
like, it's too.
Yeah,
It's
so
good.
like, is this like the 7-hour like lengthy game retrospective of Castlevania?
Yeah,
Good,
yeah.
because I'm gonna talk about it because I watched all of it.
Oh, rad. Well, I got
Yeah,
up to
sweet.
the point of where he just finished talking about Portrait of Ruin. So that's where I stopped at. I'm like 2/3 of the way through the thing now. Not much. There's not really a whole lot much else to say after, like, in my, like, I don't know, without getting into, like, the whole thing, really. Other than it's kind of interesting how they kept, like, starting and stopping and having, like, this really weird, chaotic development cycle where they're like, well, it always bothered me how, like, Symphony of the Night was, like, a really successful game. And because of, like, the stupid attitudes in the industry about, like, 2D games at the time, they're just like, well, we can never make another one of these unless it's on a stupid handheld.
Why?
So,
It doesn't make any sense.
God damn it. And it's like today now, like the ground is like fertile for something like that. To like
They
just
kept
make it-
fucking around with it too, because they were finally like, you know what, we'll make one on the Xbox 360 and the PS3. Oh, but it's
And-
4-player co-op only. It's like, well,
and it's-
fuck you then.
and it's just a bunch of
Yeah.
like asset recycling.
Yeah,
too.
it's just like a bunch of bullshit. Like they just reused it all and then didn't write a story. God damn it.
that made me mad too. I was like, God damn it, guys. It's like, but I want them. It struck me. A couple of things struck me when I was watching this. I was like, ground's absolutely fertile for like a console 2D Castlevania, in my opinion.
Lords of Shadow 3.
Or-
I know.
I'm not a Soulsian guy yet, but I really feel like they need to try to do a Castlevania Souls like. I think that should be the thing they need to stab at. For some reason, that just keeps like
That's the
claw-
thing you need to dodge roll at.
they need to dodge roll. You need to be a Belmont who's like gonna die almost all the fucking time, because that's like the current gameplay design. I don't
mean,
know what.
Is
Dark
that not
Souls is
something
already
I'm concerned-
almost that tone.
Is it? Yeah, is
Yeah.
it not just like the modern engine version of what a retro Castlevania game is?
Exactly,
Like, everything
because-
can basically kill you, but it's very rewarding to play. It's like
Yes.
it's tough but fair. I'm gonna get into this too, talking about it. But I watched a great video on like the difference between hard and challenging. Like hard for
some
the
of
sake of hard versus challenging for the reason it's there. It was a very good video.
Some of those old Castlevanias are not fair, but yeah.
This video wasn't about Castlevania. It was a different, but like this was more just about challenging things, or like what makes a boss fight like the way it needs to be, and it was kind of tied to like the theme of I don't get why Dark Souls games are popular, and then this person played it and they realized I get it now for this reason and stuff like that. So it was a cool video.
Is From Software a publisher or a dev?
Dev.
Konami needs to hire From Software to do a Castlevania Souls-like game. There you go.
That'd be cool.
Yep.
But
be sweet.
like, I don't know, it's got me into the mood to play this series again. Like after kind of being away from it for a while.
Those things will do that to you.
Me and you both.
Like I said last week, I watched that Ace Combat one, and then now that's all I can think about. Like now I'm bidding on the game.
I'm like, God damn, I want to play all these other Castlevania games. But I got Castlevania Requiem on PS4 because I kept forgetting to buy it, and I was like, I need a physical copy of Rondo of Blood I can play whenever. I don't have one, and I'm always
I have it on the
worried.
PC Engine.
Yeah, I know you do. Lucky you. But like now I have it for PS4 at least, so I feel
Is
good about
Symphony of the Night on Switch? Can I play it on Switch?
No.
No.
Is it not? Are those collections not on there?
Oh
Requiem-
yeah, it is. Yeah. The Castlevania collection's on there.
Okay.
Oh, does it have Symphony on it?
Yeah, it has Symphony. It doesn't have Rondo. It has everything but.
There was one of them I skipped because I like owned all the games in it.
Yeah, you can have. Actually, you know what? You're right. I don't know if that does have Symphony on it.
I didn't think that it did.
They're probably like,
that's-
oh, we can sell that separately.
Yeah, I feel like Symphony's the only one that's. Symphony and Rondo are separate, but you can get the Castlevania Advance. So that's Circle, Aria.
That
Dawn.
just came out. Yeah.
And that just came out like a year ago, and then
Yeah, it's not on there.
And then the other one just has all the retro games, but it doesn't have Rondo and it doesn't have Symphony.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Requiem's
Rondo.
only for
Play
PS4
Rondo.
and
Play
Xbox.
4. Play 1.
Yeah, it has Castlevania, Simon's Quest, Dracula's Curse, Super Castlevania 4. Sorry, Roman numeral.
But I'm gonna probably buy the Castlevania collection for a couple things. Like I don't have Kid Dracula, and it's like a stupid expensive game anymore. And it's got the Japanese version of Castlevania 3. Speaking of games that are just unfair, the American version, the Western release version of it is just unfair.
I'm really annoyed that I'm going to buy those collections for reasons like that. Like I don't have Kid Dracula, but I have like everything else in it, and like the Advanced Collection, I have 2 of them, but not the other one.
Well,
I know I'm going to be stupid.
The Japanese version of Castlevania 3 will also have the badass music.
That's true. Actually, I don't own Castlevania 3 on the NES, even though I've passed it up multiple times because I've always said, I'm going to buy a Famicom cart and use an adapter to do it. And I never did that. And now it's expensive even to import it. It's one of those exceptions that's like actually expensive even in Japan.
I tried to see if anybody was doing like reproductions of it, and no. It's
really?
weird.
I'm surprised by that. Oh, Prekas has that weird ass chip. It has that sound chip. And if you do a reproduction, it's going to cost more.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I don't
know. They can probably emulate that chip though. I don't know. Some of that stuff's over my head.
It's a little weird. Yeah, it seemed like nobody really ever figured it out. I'm still playing Tactics Ogre. I'm in the 4th chapter. I'm in the home stretch of the game now.
Yay.
But I've just discovered that because there's like characters you can recruit like that are part of the story, and some of them you can't. Yeah. It's like that, but like think Final Fantasy Tactics, but there's like 4 times as many characters as you can recruit.
Sweet.
And no, it's not quite like Suikoden, but
okay.
But it's
it off. We're right in the middle then.
It's approaching that. This was a Super Nintendo game originally, though.
Oh yeah.
So it was the Suikoden of its day. But it's funny because there's a lot of replay value in this game where like you can choose different paths like your character takes. And it affects the story. There's like a lawful, a neutral, and a chaotic path. And each one will like determine like what kind of characters you can recruit and like kind of what direction the story takes. I ended up going on the chaotic path, mostly because I just don't agree with any of the power structures that are presented in this world. Everybody's just like a bunch of fucking assholes and shit, and I hate them.
Sounds like Final Fantasy Tactics more and more.
Well, Final Fantasy that's the thing is I'm kind of waiting on the other shooter drop in this narrative. I'm not going to get into it too much, I guess, until I actually finish the game. But like, I'm waiting for this reveal to reveal like why everybody's so craven and power hungry, and like I don't know that it'll ever happen. I kind of feel like it's one of those stories where like people are just naturally assholes. I guess I don't know.
And you said you're in the 4th and final chapter of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I was looking at it, there's like a fucking flow chart for how to like recruit characters in this game. That's how complex it gets. And I'm thinking about like I'm at this crossroads where I'm trying to consider like, am I going to try to get some of these hardened characters or not? I don't know. I do want to get a lich, which I know involves a very lengthy process to be able to create a lich and have them in your party. But it's like, God damn it, I have a lich in my party.
Usually it's worth it. I hate to keep comparing it to Final Fantasy Tactics, but that's my point of reference. But I remember it being a pain in the ass to get the math sorcerer. And they fucking own that game. So like sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it's worth the effort.
Yeah, weren't they just called mathematician or something?
Yeah, something like that. I always said math wizard.
Math wizard.
It sounds like something you'd use in the computer lab in 3rd grade, but
yeah.
Math Blaster.
Still cool though. Also, I finished a comic book. I finished Black Widow Death Duty. It was like a one-shot that came out in the mid-90s. It was just a fun little, espionage romp where I think it used like a legacy character or something from like earlier in Marvel's history. Seems like Blackbird or something. He's like, kind of reminds me of Rorschach or something. He's just like a guy who like wears a mask. He fucking shoots people and shit. Rorschach didn't shoot anybody.
You're locked in with me. Sorry.
But, it was pretty cool though. Not much to really say talking about it. It's just if you like that character, you like that kind of stories, you'll like that book. That's pretty much all I did. There it is.
I haven't bought Isom 2 yet.
Me either.
Oh, I read ISOM. I forgot to mention that like a week ago.
What, did you buy it?
No.
No, you stole from him. Damn. Well, we'll have to talk about it sometime.
I don't have a whole lot to say about it, I guess.
Well, I'm still be interested to get your opinion because you're like, I consider you an outsider on this.
Part of my opinion has been very tainted, so.
Huh.
Yeah.
I had to look up the name for the math wizard because it was bothering me. Arithmetician, also known as the calculator.
Calculator, that's what it was.
Calculator, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll bet you it's called the other one in the PSP version because the PSP version they fucking renamed everything.
I hate it. I hate the PSP version.
I respect what they tried to do, but
they tried too hard.
They should have got like a little ways into it and realized, oh, we're ruining the tone of this game.
The calculator, that seems too funny to me as a name. That sounds like the title of a movie that's parodying the Ben Affleck movie we were talking about.
That's what I was going to say. It sounds
The
like some
calculator.
autistic assassin or some shit.
And someone's like, "Are you sure you can do this?" And he's like, "You can count on it." Like that would be the line.
I've assessed all the risks.
The bad guy should be the Steiner math bad guy.
Yeah, that would be the thing. Is like he's like, "Oh, looking at the bomb," and he's like, "We did the math."
Let me tell you something about math. You see, Samoa Joe's.
I see you in sacrifice.
Samoa Joe knows. Anyway.
Oh man.
Long Daddy Chaz, what the hell you been watching, playing, or doing?
Yeah. So as you can see, the room looks different. I've officially moved. And with
In
that,
Iraq.
yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Don't have our green screen ready yet, where we can yell "Death to America." That's like fucked up and like stupid to say. Anyway, so in moving, of course, there's the packing and the unpacking process. I've had a lot of downtime to, like, I mean, well, not really downtime, but just every little second that I had between working, I've had to like spend time packing. So I went down a deep well. I'd listened to that Insane Lore of Street Fighter, and I hadn't finished it when we were on the last week's episode, and it was good. I finished it, and then I watched the Insane Lore of Tekken right after that, and yeah, the guy wasn't kidding. Like, don't get me wrong, the Street Fighter lore is insane, but
It's not
dear
that
God,
insane.
the like Tekken is fucking crazy.
It's
That's
just
the one I want to
it's-
see. That sounds interesting.
I mean,
Yeah.
one of the main stories is some dude throwing his son off a mountain into a volcano or
That's-
some bullshit.
That's what I know. I want to know what I don't know. You know what I mean?
That's the start of the series. That's
Yeah,
right.
it's not even that. It's like a random thing. It's like, no, that's how it all began. So and then it's like retcon in like 3 different ways or some nonsense. That story is absolutely ridiculous.
Is there
which
one
it
about
doesn't
the
make.
Guilty Gear story?
I no, not yet.
Oh,
There the guy hasn't covered Guilty Gear. The same person at least hasn't covered Guilty Gear, and he hasn't covered Mortal Kombat. So that's
There's
what I want to see.
There's a 6-hour video of, I think it's Ben Saint, just in front of a
Mhm.
dry erase board trying to explain the full story of Guilty Gear, and it is like
Jesus.
feverishly insane. Like it's just
it is
absolutely bonkers ridiculous, and I
Oh,
love.
I wouldn't doubt it at all. Yeah, the Guilty Gear series is absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
So, but from there, I went down a deep well, and I wish I could go back and tell you all the names of the different ones I like, because I watched various ones. And some of them I'd got a little like I'd get like a couple minutes into it, and like, oh, this is kind of trash, move on. But I just find another one of a series I wanted to hear about while I was just packing shit up because I wanted to listen, and I wasn't gonna. I wanted to learn things I don't need to know that I want to know, rather than like I'd swap out and like listen to lecture series or something, and then I would switch to this. So, I did listen to the stupid long Castlevania, as we talked about. It's very good. I don't want to get too much into it. Maybe we can talk another time after the end of it. It was definitely good to hear. A lot of the themes you'd already talked about were there. But you actually, because you said portrait was what you stopped at, I would say like some of the best assessments are yet to come, like evaluations of things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would just look forward to listening to that.
What even is there after Order of Ecclesia? Isn't it just the Lord's Shadow games?
So there's for
There's
portrait the way he covered them, he like did them in a mixed bag, like because these games are all made like like he said, the studios were split in some weird way. So you had all these games, you had all the like EGA games coming out on Game Boy series, and then you also had the 3D era games that started to come out at the same time, because you had the PlayStation 2 games. You had Lament of Innocence and Curse of Darkness.
Those are
So-
EA games too, though, is the thing.
They are, but it's still like a different team, right? Like it's like they're separated in a weird way that's strange. And it is kind of sad that Curse of Darkness is the last like true EGA game, but it is what it is. But he covers that next, and then he goes on to Words of Shadow, and then he covers like that series, which I think is pretty interesting. I have a soft spot. I think I've talked about it on the show before about Curse of Darkness. Curse of Darkness is like my ideal like 6 out of 10 game. It is like
I kind of
Hey,
want to play it. I'm not gonna lie.
that game is so good and so bad at the same time. Like there's so many things that are wrong with it, but despite its flaws, it's such a great game for so many of the things that it does. So that said, I definitely recommend it. But I really enjoyed listening to the entire retrospective, though. It was interesting to learn that history and like so many of the people that are important to the like why Castlevania is what it is, and why it survived and continued and thrived. Like those same people just got screwed in so many ways by just the other customs of just that industry. It was just weird. And then I listened. I'd say that was definitely like probably the best of the retrospectives, because it covered so much, both within the game and the gameplay and explaining mechanics, especially explaining the story and some of the like the little details that could be missed about the
Yeah.
stories. But also covering the behind the scenes stuff. The other ones I watched more like were very like superficial or covered like lore based stuff, but they didn't go as much into like the actual development. or behind the scenes process. But I watched one on like trying to explain the lore of Kingdom Hearts because I thought, oh, this would be funny because that's like the most convoluted story. It still is the most convoluted fucking story ever. I found one that was about Dark Souls, and then that led me to find the one that was about like the perfect boss fight, like what makes the elements of a perfect boss fight. And that was a cool thing to hear if someone tries to explain it. And like I think the guy did a really good job of he narrates how he was able to defeat a boss. Actually, it was really funny. The guy's got like great comedic timing when he's telling the story. So he starts talking about Elden Ring, and he fucked up in Elden Ring because he didn't realize that the person he's talking to that says something about being maidenless, and he's like, "Fuck you, fuck monogamy," and he says no, and it's the person you need to level up. So he got so pissed that he quit and was like, "Well, I was tired of this game, so I wanted a real challenge." So I tried Demon Souls, and then it shows a picture of him just getting his ass beat, like in the first run of like the stage. And he goes, "I'm done with this." So I played Dark Souls 3. It was the easiest one, but he goes on about how like one of the boss fights in that game that's more memorable, and like explains how like he just kept doing it. It was almost like a fever. Like he had to fight through it, and then he finally understood why at the end, like why people were into it, and it was a good thing to hear. Like as far as a good way to explain to someone who maybe doesn't get that side of it if they've never played one. I'm not saying like it's the best thing ever, but there's a reason for some of it to be that way, and also like the difference between what makes a game unnecessarily hard versus what makes it challenging. Because something is challenging, but you can learn from it and learn how to overcome it is better than something that's just hard for sake of like something that's almost bugged to just be difficult for no reason other than to be that way. So
yeah, I've always thought Souls challenging, but hard is like a bullet hell. It's just like
yeah,
it just is.
I fucking hate those games.
yeah.
That's like something we'll talk about some point later. Is like, oh, what genre you not like? And it's like that's one of mine. Is I don't like shmups, especially bullet hells.
I have some answers to that question too, but I'll hold my tongue.
Yeah, I take it or leave it for certain ones. But anyway, I watched the same guy that did that video did one about all the Spider-Man games, which was fun to watch. And I learned how listening to his theory why 9/11 ruined the second Spider-Man game on PlayStation 1, Inter Electro. And it's actually like he explained it. And I was like, oh, that makes way more sense. That game had a very specific sequence where you were supposed to have a major like climactic fight on top of the Twin Towers, and they were going to feature it. And then 9/11 happened, and they had to go, oh shit, and they had to like find a way to render out the towers and do all this stuff to it, and it kind of fucked the game up. And it fucked the whole ending to the game.
As good as the first one. Oh
yeah, no, it's definitely not. It was like, well, it's like I don't think it ruined the whole thing, but it definitely like caused some problems. But yeah, it was interesting to hear that. They guys again, the comedic timing is pretty hilarious. I watched one on Mortal Kombat lore, which was interesting, and part of that was also because the beta for Mortal Kombat 1 was out this weekend. It's closed now, but I have a chance to play it. I'm a little torn on the game. I didn't get to play too much just because of the move. But what I did get to play, the movement feels so different. It almost feels, and maybe I'll get used to it. Maybe it's because I've been playing Street Fighter and it moves in Guilty Gear. Sorry. I've been playing Guilty Gear as well, and those games move much more, they're much faster and more deliberate. And Mortal Kombat 1's pacing moves, there's very, very fluid movement. The cameo assist system seems fine. Just hadn't kind of figured out what combination of things I like there. But yeah, some of the characters were cool so far. Some neat things to see there. I played in a Street Fighter 6 weekly event and got top 8. It was actually kind of cool to see that we had so many people. We ended up with over 20 people there, and I ended up getting like tying for 5th place. I got knocked out in the before quarterfinals. That was the joke with the Modern Geef thing. Like a bunch of people, I hadn't had a chance to really play around with others, and actually I didn't realize I thought we were doing brackets, or not brackets, but round robin first, like pools, and then after that, then you would play your bracket, so you couldn't get knocked out. So I was like dicking around playing, and I lost another guy in a round. Thinking, oh, we had fun. I played a different character because I was playing around with JP and stuff. And then they were like, oh, okay, well, you can only lose one more, and I'm like, fuck. What? So I was like, well, I better switch over, like actually play the character I know how to play. And what a while, but there was like a crew of like 2 or 3 people that showed up just playing modern Zangief. But the trick was is they knew how to play Zangief, so they were only playing it that way to deliberately have that like one button input when they needed it. But otherwise, they would do the inputs like the regular way. And the one guy ended up winning the whole event that way. Like he pissed off a bunch of people. It was really funny. It's kind of a troll. But we don't have to go there shouting at clouds of modern controls, whatever. Let's see. I'm still watching Bleach, another episode of the new series that came out. Got some more of finished opening my Obsidian Flames cards, and then Disney Lorcana just dropped, which is the new TCG from Disney. God, I hate that I'm actually talking about this. So hear me out. So I went to the weekly event thing that I've been going to for fighting games, and the store there, they had some Lorcana stuff because they were about to do their big event for like teaching how to play. They did their big pre-release event this past weekend, and they were only gonna have so many items. And the owner of the store was like super nice. Was like, hey, you've helped out with a lot of the stuff and organizing it and everything. So I know you're not gonna have a chance to come because you're moving. So they gave me a chance to get some stuff. Like I got like one thing for like a discounted price, whatever. Long story short, I ended up getting a starter deck and a couple of packs, and Evie and I opened them, and we liked the art. It was cool. So then I thought, well, I've opened these. Maybe I'll look into how to play. And the game is so fucking fun. And now I'm really worried because
are people going to actually play it, or are they just going to collect all the cards, though?
Yes.
Okay.
But so that's the aspect that might make it actually stick around. And I don't know. I'm optimistic. Maybe they got to make more product and make it more available because right now it's being gouged to shit. But it's not actually available in a mass retail yet. They actually intentionally only allowed local shops to sell it first and have it for pre-release and gave them first dibs on product. And then the second wave is when they're going to have mass retail have it. That being said, people are like price gouging the bejesus out of it right now, which is making it difficult to find. But the game plays like a simpler, like easier to follow version of Magic. But there are elements of how it plays that like make it more flexible than Magic in like the best way. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like everything that's good about playing Magic is in the game, but the things that make Magic frustrating are not there. And it's so interesting in terms of how it plays. It's a very fun game to play. Yeah, I've enjoyed it like playing a lot. There's actually a digital free version you can download right now called Pixelborn that a lot of people have been using to play test decks and stuff and whatnot. And I played a couple of games on that to see how it was. It's a lot of fun. So I don't know if I'm gonna get into it more or not. It looks like there's a lot of support. I guess the weekend thing where they did a teach to play, their store had like 50 plus people there to just play. So it sounds like it's definitely got a following. Just as far as like once it comes out, if people are gonna regularly play or not, it's a whole different story. I don't know. But yeah, just all that was interesting. More to follow and come on that. But I think that was really it. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned. Just over the course of 2 days, just because I had nothing else that was going on, and I was like still like just diddling around, just putting stuff away as I unpack. I watched the newest Mortal Kombat movie. It was more than just played in passing. That movie's so funny because the only thing that's really good about that movie is the very beginning. The opening part of that movie is really good, and the ending is somewhat good, not quite as good as the first encounter, where Scorpion's there. And then in between, there's like little bits that are fine, like Cabal and Kano being on screen, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else about that movie is kind of meh to outright, why did you do that?
Yep.
But
When your best fucking character is Kano, the fucking like enemy, like you got a problem.
No, the best character was Kung Lao, and they fucking killed him. It pissed me off.
oh yeah, I didn't like they killed Kung Lao. They made him like kind of like a an asshole, which I liked. Yeah, but they killed him off. But it does lead to the funniest thing in the whole movie, right? Kano's got, or not Kabal's got Liu Kang, and they hear the screaming, and he's like, "Oh, that's the sound of." How does he say it? Oh, he's about to have his soul sucked. That's the way he says it. It's like you get his dick sucked. Suck soul.
Suck pole.
All right, well, let's talk about the news. I kind of want to get this out of the way because it annoyed me. But fucking, you have people everywhere, even on YouTube, that are talking about Starfield's menu system and like judging the game off of a menu system. People are actually saying that because the menu system is so simple, meaning a background of whatever, like a looping video, and you know the actual menu of like play game options and all that stuff are fucking the game shit. I mean, because the menu's so plain, it's gonna be shit.
That's fucking dumb.
Why are you taking the bait? They're just like there's no way that matters.
I just think it's retarded that these people are still doing console wars and still trying to like one up each other. Like back in the day, like our one up was like better than what's happening right now. Like they're like
there was actually shit at stake back then.
it's like nitpicking at this
there
point.
were lives on the line.
Well, people fucking died.
We lost good men.
But like they have to be thinking like what I'm saying right now is retarded. But I know people are going to get pissed off, probably like me, and be like, you know, they're going to make money off of it or whatever social media website that they're doing.
I couldn't imagine you getting pissed off at video game
Fuck
news
you.
about a game that's not even out yet.
Fuck
Hey,
you.
what else is in the news this week?
Metal Gear. So yeah, I also want to like I'm gonna let you handle the news on the Metal Gear, but the misinformation on fucking the internet is wild, dude. Like
that was the thing.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of misinformation. It turned out.
Oh, did you read the whole thing about how if you get the collection and you got the COVID vaccine, it'll burn the television and your retinas will not work anymore? Did you hear about that?
no.
You said the right thing. Did you read it? The answer is no. No one did. No one like. You got to read the article.
You gotta read.
Well,
People just read a headline and they go, "I'm fucking pissed off about that 720p. That's bullshit. It's gonna look like a goddamn Tiger Engage. It's stupid bullshit. I'm not gonna play that game. That game came out on the PlayStation. It's gonna be on the 360 or the Xbox Superbox now. It should look amazing." No, it's not a remake. They're not remaking the whole game. And then if they were like, "Oh, they're taking out content. They're taking stuff away." No, also wrong. Also misreporting. What they said is that it's going to have a disclaimer at the beginning, which is it's still kind of bullshit, but it's not going to affect the game. It's going to say, "Look, there's some outdated ideas in these games. We're presenting the games as the creators intended, but just know that these games are a product of their time," and blah blah blah. Which perfectly fine. And there is something they're replacing. Do you remember when all the games were delisted from the digital storefronts?
The history.
Yeah, the historical footage. They could not get the rights to some of those pieces of footage again. It's not a money issue. It's because the organizations that license that historical footage literally no longer exist. So Konami cannot find them to give money to. So they've replaced like 6 of the little short, like, you know, like when the DARPA chief is telling you about the, you know, nuclear proliferation, and there's like some clips of like some missiles in a field somewhere. Like a couple of those clips got replaced.
You know what? I would like actually give Konami points if they took Microsoft Paint and just fucking like drew out the scenes of historical facts and stuff. I'd buy that for $1.
I don't know. Just like you said, stuff was misreported. People just read headlines and then immediately jumped on X, Twitter, and Reddit and started whining. Like, and this coming from me, I don't even know if I'm going to buy that yet because I still think everyone has a really short memory about like how shitty of a company they were a few years ago. But we'll wait and see.
I just want it on the Switch so that I could like shit and play Metal Gear.
Yeah, I'm down to play Metal Gear like on the move, whatever. It's cool, I guess.
Can't do it. I'm in David Lynch mode for those games. Unless
No.
it's, I can maybe play the first one in like on handheld mode, but I can't play 2 and 3 like that. Sorry. Also, the Integral. We are getting Metal Gear Solid Integral in that collection too, which is kind of cool because
that's the things they've actually improved it a lot too. It's the Blue Point ports from the HD collection, but they fixed a bunch of stuff. Like the laser sight works again in Metal Gear Solid 2.
Nice.
I didn't know it didn't work.
Yeah, it was like screwed up in some parts of the game in the HD collection, but the game's still playable. Like it's still fine because you just kind of get used to it. But they fixed it. So
use your irons. You don't need fucking laser sight. That's a baby's toy.
Instead of just doing the lazy thing and porting the HD collection over, they're actually working on it and doing stuff.
That's cool.
And all like Zach said, they also added Integral. And the games that play in standard definition, you're gonna have the option to add like borders and stuff. I like when collections do that. I don't do it. I like the black borders. I just like knowing it's there. I want the game in its original intended presentation. Like when you play the MSX games, they'll be in 4x3 and you can put shit on the sides if you want or not. And you can also make it left and right justified, which is really good for streamers because you can make it one or the other justified and then you move the screen to hide the black part and then you have all your stupid graphics or what follow me on fucking Blue Sky on the side. So I don't know. It sounds like they put a lot of work into it and a lot of people are jumping the gun because they just want something to be pissed off about. And a lot of people are mad. Very passionate about Metal Gear. I know because I'm one of them. But I don't know. It's just a bunch of people just jump the gun. You know, again, I love you, buddy, but including you a little bit, just a little teeny bit, a little bit.
I just read fucking the director and talking about modernized and shit, and just people editing it to the way of misinforming me kind of pissed me off, and actually YouTubers that I actually trust kind of reported on it and kind of pissed me off. So
because it got clicks,
clickbaits. So I hope they I hope they get diarrhea tomorrow. So
I hope they turn into Johnny Sasaki.
Yeah.
Oh, my
better
stomach!
I was like, I hope they die. They deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
I hope they get knocked unconscious and they fucking fall down with their ass sticking up in the air.
I hope they get their clothes fucking stolen.
We already spent all the time talking about it, so like with Castlevania, like I'm back to where you were saying though, like people have easily forgotten about the whole pachinko nonsense with Konami and how shitty they've treated things. And it's like you have all these awesome like IPs that are also sitting there that you could make use of. Just fucking do it.
Well, I mean, they're criminal. Oh, I'm sorry, but their criminal misuse of their intellectual property is one thing. But I'm talking more about like their treatment of Kojima and his employees. Like,
oh, sure, yeah,
and even after he left, like they blocked his company getting health care from an organization that provides healthcare to game developers in Japan. Like just petty, shitty stuff like that. However, you know, I think we've talked about this in the show before, so I'm going to try to keep it brief. But from what I understand, they've had a bit of a change in leadership. There's been some shaking up, and that's part of why they want to re-enter games. That's why we're seeing Silent Hill and Metal Gear, and hopefully Contra and Castlevania. But I'm still in wait and see mode. I want to be excited about Metal Gear Delta super bad, but
yeah,
I don't know. I had my heart broken.
They also have all
once bitten, twice shy.
They have all the Hudson properties too, right? Like Bomberman and Bloody Roar. That's the fighting. If I had a fighting IP that could get remade, that's it right there. Bloody Roar.
They made that Castlevania fighting game for the Wii. Is that in you guys' video?
It's in the video. Judgment.
It's in the video.
Sweet.
I haven't got that far yet.
Did you guys ever play that game?
No. That actually, I misspoke earlier. I was talking earlier about Curse of Darkness. Curse of Darkness is not Iga's last game. I'm pretty sure it's that Wii game.
That's sad.
I'm pretty sure that's his actual final game. And wow, what a way to go out!
He said, "I'm gonna go make another game about a lady."
I thought Order of Ecclesia came out after that.
I think it's
did.
before. I thought it was.
I'm gonna look it up because
I'm pretty sure Order of
I
Ecclesia
like to
came out
correct
after
people.
Judgment, but
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, chronologically it might be it. I think he doesn't cover the actual.
But you said he
in
covers
the-
them in
the-
like swatches, so that would make sense.
Yeah, so I think that's what I might be thinking of it in that way. But yeah,
Zach and I were working at the same GameStop while those games were coming out. Or no, maybe I was at the mall by then. But I don't know, whatever. We were both working at GameStop when those games came out.
November 18th, 2008 for Castlevania Judgment.
yeah, Word of Ecclesia had to be around the same.
Mm-hmm.
It was close.
You guys want to talk about the Mario thing? Because I don't know anything about the Mario.
Oh,
October
yeah.
21st, 2008 for Order of Ecclesia. There you go. So it's a month apart. It's like
Very
2 weeks.
close. Wow.
Oh, yeah. I told you, but like that timeline is like all together. Yeah, so
But yeah, we'll mention it, Dubs. There's not much to say except
Yeah.
Charles Martinet retired from being the voice of Mario.
yeah, Mario, as you know, is dead.
They already have a new voice actor for Mario in that new Mario trailer, as people noted. But interestingly,
Yeah, it's
that
Chris Pratt.
voice no, it's not. But that voice actor is not the voice actor who's doing Wario's voice in the new Wario compilation coming out. So Charles Martinet did Mario, Luigi, Waluigi, and Wario. And apparently now they're going to have people separately doing those potentially.
I mean, to be fair, now that they're doing that, they can actually have 4 people dress as those characters and come like go to
They should-
things and cons and stuff and just live.
They should do like the death of Superman, but the death of Mario, and then the return of Mario.
Reign of
Metal-
the Marios.
Metal
Yeah.
Mario, Fat Mario.
That's right.
Elephant
Cyborg Mario.
Enter
Yeah.
the Mario verse.
Mario Boy.
The
Yeah.
cool looking 90s Mario with the leather jacket and the fucking sunglasses.
Bret Hart Mario.
Bret the Hitman Hart Mario. Exactly. Yeah, the cool guy.
That's right. But yeah, Charles Martinet retired, and he's a really cool guy, and everyone likes him. Apparently, everyone who's ever met him was like, "Wow, he was really nice." So I haven't met him, but that's all I've ever heard about the guy. So I hope him the best. He also he was a professional voice actor, of course, and he did lots of other voices. He was the voice of like the main dragon in Skyrim. Isn't that bizarre?
Weird.
All the voice actors in video game done everything. Like fucking Troy Baker's everywhere. Fucking
Oh, yeah, Troy Baker's everywhere. Noah
Yeah.
North is everywhere. But just Charles Martinet, I always thought, Mario, and then also sometimes the other color Marios, green Mario, yellow Mario, those ones.
Mhm.
Mario.
and Dragon.
And Dragon, apparently. Should have made him the voice of Sam Fisher, or not Sam Fisher. God damn it! Yeah, why not?
He does like always the split thing up in the ceiling.
Let's go.
Let's go! And he fucking like shoots people with like a silence 1911.
He's like, he takes someone out and he just whispers, "So long, Gabe Bowser."
So, no, good about it.
Yahoo! The best there is, the best there was, the best there will be. Yahoo! Sorry, I'm doing a Mario Bret Hart. Anyway,
Thank you so much for to play my game, Snap.
yeah. All right. Well, I think it's time to end season 1 of Big Trouble Little Podcasts. We will be back in October-ish, early October, for horror month. Because remember, we do Halloween movies, and I believe I'm at the top, by the way, so I'll give you my movie. It's Lake Mungo. So that is my pick. So go watch that, and then a month later, hear us talk about it. Catch us on all podcast services. We're on everything: Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, anything you can think of. We're on there.
Listen,
YouTube.
we're giving you a month off, so you need to get caught up. You need to listen
Yes.
to every episode of season 1, and then you need to go listen to every episode of Living in Shadows.
Lost in Nightmare.
That's it. I'll remember it one day. And you got to listen to every episode of Getting Some Color.
Living in shadows.
Yes. Giving you a
which, by
month.
the way, we will be doing Getting Some Color Thursday, I believe, right? Correct?
Yes, I was going to ask you guys, are you good? Chaz, are you good? Can you do it? If you can't do it, fuck you. Me and Dubs will do it anyway. 'Cause we gotta get one in for the month, okay?
Well, am I gonna be there or not, guys? You'll only know if you tune in on Thursday.
Yes.
What cliffhanger?
but until
Spoilers, I'll be there because I ain't a bitch.
but until next time, guys, thank you for 253 episodes of season 1. We will see you in October. Peace.
Thank you for listening.
What's in the bag?
Huh?
I'm from Geek TV, and today we're talking to local comic fans and finding out what they're purchasing. So what's in the bag?
It's called Brother Sister.
That's awesome. And what is that about? Like a brother-sister crime-fighting duo?
It's about a brother and a sister that fuck.
They what?